Good evening, everyone. I will now call this CISD Board of Trustee Workshop to order at 6:33 PM. Today is Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. This meeting is being conducted at the Mission CISD Administration Office, at Eagle Staff. Dr. King, was this meeting properly posted?
Madam President, this notice was posted by 4 PM on January 29th, 2026.
Okay, I will now acknowledge board members present. Vice Secretary, Mrs. Petra Ramirez. Member, Mrs. Iris Iglesias. Member, Mrs. Betty Mendoza. Member, Jerry Sabota, and myself, President, Mrs. Dolores Reina. Is Vice President, Ms. Nati Sosa. We have quorum. Mrs. Barrera, do we have any public comments? Okay, thank you. Dr. King?
Section 4, Curriculum and Instruction. We have number 1, presentations to the Board of Trustees. Of course, these are going to be presented at the regular board meeting next Wednesday. We have Mrs. Wilson, who's going to share the items that will be presented.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Board President, Ms. Reina, members of the board, your superintendent, Dr. King, and members of the audience. At the upcoming board meeting, we will have presentations to the Board of Trustees, the 2025-2026 House Bill 3 Campus Goals and Progress Monitoring. Just as the board approved the board goals, we had the campuses also work on theirs. We presented that in December, and now they have delved deeper into each of those goals. So we're going to present that to you. And at the next board meeting, you'll have that information at the end of this week for review. We'll also be presenting the 2025-2026 House Bill 3 Board Adopted Goals Progress Monitoring Middle of Year MOI data. We will be presenting compared to beginning of year and where we are at this point. Those two presentations will be brought to you next week. Our next item is discussion and possible action for the next board meeting. Proposed 2026-2027 academic school calendar. A district calendar survey was distributed to all Mission CISD staff to gather feedback and support the development of the 2026-2027 academic calendar. The Mission CISD District Educational Improvement Committee, also known as the DEIC, convened and selected members to serve as representatives on a DEIC calendar subcommittee. The calendar subcommittee reviewed the results of the district calendar survey and was charged with developing 3 proposed calendars for the 2026-2027 school year. In accordance with the Texas Education Code, Section 25.081, each school district is required to provide a minimum of 75,600 minutes of instruction, including intermissions and recess. As a district of innovation, Mission CISD is permitted to begin the school year prior to the 4th Monday in August. All Mission CISD employees were given the opportunity to vote on Calendar A, Calendar B, or Calendar C. Voting was conducted electronically and was open from January 26, 2026 at 9 a.m. through this Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026 at 5 p.m. Votes are being tabulated by the department and campus, and that happens through Mrs. Rissica's office. And the results will be presented at our next board meeting. Are there any questions?
So at this point, you don't know how many employees participated?
Yes. It's there.
So we do have some of that information for you. We're still tabulating all of that. And so at the next meeting, we do want to be able to give you that actual true count by department and by campus.
Yeah.
With the final votes.
Yeah. Okay.
So far, it's looking like
67.41%, where a total of 1,580 employees voted.
Within last, okay.
67% participated.
Mhm.
Are there any other questions?
Oh, ma'am.
We did also sought feedback and input from parents. And so our families were able to give us input on particularly the 3-week winter break. And so I don't know if they have that data.
Do you have some folders for them?
Does that include the survey on the winter reading?
No, it's just on the break because of really the difference between calendar A and C. Calendar B and C have a 3-week, one has like a 2.5 week, the other one has a 3-week winter break. But the difference between A and C is, and really, when you look at the number of instructional days, let's say A and C have 174 days of instruction. The only thing that differs is in calendar A, they sprinkle 4 or 5 days off throughout the year. Calendar C packs them all into that 3rd week for winter break. So that's all that is. It's, if you look at instructional days, it's really the same. I counted down to how many days students would be really out. It's about the same for every single calendar. The only difference is where do you want to place those days off? Do you want Labor Day off? Yes or no? Calendar A says, yes, we want Labor Day off. Calendar C says no.
We'll save it.
Let's save it for the 3-week.
Right.
Calendar A will say, let's give an extra day off in October. And calendar C says, no, we'll make it a work day or staff development day, and we'd rather have that day off in December or January to help build that extra week off. Do you want Martin Luther King Day off? It's a national holiday. Calendar A says yes. Calendar C says no. Let's just pack it all into that 3rd week for winter. Calendar A says we want Monday after Easter off, and calendar C says no. We want to all put it together to create that 3rd week. So it's really, that's the difference. Doesn't come down to the number of days children are in school. It all complies with the age required for instructional minutes. Everything's compliant. It's just, where do you want to place your days? Do you want them all to create a 3rd week off, or do you want to sprinkle them throughout the year, the academic year? That's all it is.
Dr. Valdez, how about the hourly employees situation we had?
Yes, I met with payroll, and payroll told me that the impact is minimal, that the hourly folks, especially our CMP, maintenance, which are mainly our custodial staff, and then our bus drivers and the transportation department, they're used to, that's what I was told, they're used to not having that work time. So every year they anticipate that they won't have like a full paycheck, if you will. That whole pay cycle is disrupted, whether it's 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off.
I'd like to see, Dr. King, a breakdown by department. I want to see what transportation voted for. I want a breakdown. I should have prepped, and maintenance.
Did they have?
Have that.
We do. If, in looking at all the, let's say, non-campus employees, we had approximately 400 non-campus employees vote out of the 1,500. So you see, I mean, the campus employees heavily weight the voting results. So, there were about, I think it was about 380 staff members who are non-campus employees who voted. And we do have that breakdown. And we have it broken down by department as far as how transportation voted, how maintenance voted, each department here at Central,
Good.
and then each campus. So we can provide you with that information. Inside your folder, I included the comparison of the 3 calendars. And as Dr. King said, really what it boils down to is all 3 calendars have either 25 or 26 holidays embedded. If you're looking at calendar C, for the most part, you have 15 days in winter break, and you have 5 days at Thanksgiving, and you have 5 days at spring break, and there's your 25 days right there. So you don't have you don't have other holidays off, because most of it is right in the middle of that winter break, where calendar A and calendar B have holidays sprinkled throughout. I did include in your packet this presentation This is a breakdown or a summarization of the results of the survey that we sent out to staff. So, the staff, we had about 1,067 responses from the survey from staff, and this was sent out to all staff. And then on the last page is the results from parents. And we had 514 responses. It was just a 3-question survey. You know, did the 3-week winter break work well for your family? Yes or no? And would you support including a 3-week winter break in future calendars? Yes or no? And then the third question was an open-ended question where they were asked to provide comments. So you can see on the parent survey, overwhelmingly 89% were in favor of the 3-week winter break, and 88% said that they would vote for 3-week, or they would opt for a 3-week winter break in future calendars. So that was of the 500 responses that we received from parents.
Okay, my next question would be, what has the attendance looked like since they had the 3-week? How has it affected the attendance? Are we in the 90s? Are we in the 80s or?
We're in the 90s.
We're in the
The only
90s.
day that was affected was when we had the late start because of the winter, the freeze warning on that Monday. That's the only day that it's really impacted attendance.
So my understanding is when these kids went out to winter break, we did purchase some materials for them to do their homework and, you know, to prevent any learning loss. What was the percent that turned them in? How many people was it a grade? Was it?
Salinas had the most participation. It was 22%.
Good.
That actually went in with the QR code and.
Yeah, right.
The research really is behind building home libraries. The more books you have in a home, the more that you are enforcing and reinforcing literacy at your house.
Yes.
And so I can bring up the research on home libraries. That's really the premise of what we're trying to do is, although you can have at your fingertips, right?
Yeah.
Ebooks or whatever, right? But at the same time, it's building home libraries. And I'll bring that research on.
To know the participation, you know, if it was a.
22% was the highest with Salinas. But we don't know if they just don't go in and do with the QR code.
I know that the kid, and I've heard from several people that the kids were really excited about getting the books. I think that, you know, there are other barriers to them actually responding to the QR code, whether or not they have a device to do it, whether they just read the books and isn't that enough? You know, that's why we purchased them. So although the percentage of participation wasn't as high as maybe we would have liked, I think that overall it was still a benefit to our students to receive the books.
It's the first time we do it too, so even you'll see.
That's what I'm saying.
It will,
Like a baseline.
will be a baseline and then we'll see
You know,
the growth in that. And again, some people I didn't do the QR code, but we read the books multiple times. My daughter read Rudy's books.
Yeah. Probably what happened. You read the books, but you know, we're busy and you don't think to, you know, we'll pull out that QR code so we can answer the survey. Yeah.
I wanted another kid to
I
win.
want to say overall, it was around 20% participation district-wide.
I just want to mention that because funds were spent on this and I just want to make sure that.
To really think about when the voting's taking place of all MCISD employees to have a voice and choice is when I really unpack the data, the numbers, campus staff votes equal 1,804. So campus people, if you're at a campus, there's 1,804 staff members. If you look at district departments, only 428 employees. So when you do raw numbers, right, campuses heavily outweigh district departments, right? So, I mean, in the future, do we want to calculate a formula where you do a weighting factor? Because, and you'll see when we present the data, right, on the different options, and we'll show because of the impact it has to district departments.
Yes.
By using a 3-week calendar, right, the winter break, and you just, because consolidate all holidays and to have that 3 week, you'll see how district departments vote as opposed to campus, how they vote. And it's polar opposite when you see that. So that's something to consider when you're really thinking about having the equal voice for all Mission CISD team members to have an equal voice. So how do you equalize that? It's easy. You do a weighted formula, which I calculated, right? But it's interesting when you get to, because every vote counts. However, right now, not every vote counts the same.
No, it doesn't.
Same.
There's 1,804 votes for campuses and 428 votes for district departments. I think that too leads to maybe I don't want to participate if I'm a district department in the voting because it doesn't
Matter.
Doesn't matter. A lot.
That's
So the thing,
I'm sorry, go ahead. Okay, I have two questions.
okay.
How did it affect the 3 week break or winter break? How did it affect employees such as 226? What happened there with the?
oh, they came in.
226 came in on that January, it was on a Tuesday, January 6th.
So they had to return.
226 calendar folks came in, we came into work and
At their day.
some who are on the 226 did run into some maybe childcare issues. And because they couldn't find childcare, they had to take days, personal days to be able to take care of their children who are enrolled in our schools.
Some of them lost money. I mean, they weren't paid. They had $200. $200 for some of them are employees and the low end is a lot of money, especially in January.
Because of the break?
Because of the break.
Ended break.
Well, the comments I received were the after-school daycare that these schools have. The employees that work the after-school daycare, you're looking at maybe $200 extra. Well, that month, they didn't get their $200. I understand also that just in the grocery store, okay? A lot of parents were going to the food bank because they were cut with their food stamps and stuff. And so that's what I'm saying. If we have to look at all the areas when we look at these calendars,
Right.
and so.
Question on the parent survey. Was there a comment box included there?
Yeah. you said it was.
Okay.
It was an open-ended question.
Okay, and also on the parent survey, this percentage, which was what, 80-some%?
86.
Tiny. Were they mainly elementary parents, secondary, or you wouldn't know that?
Wouldn't know that.
No, they only were identified, there were a lot of, I will say,
Doesn't
there were a lot of school district employees that are parents
Okay.
that answered the survey because it collected their email address. So that, we don't know who they are, but it collected their email address. So there were a lot of MCISD employees that are also parents that responded to the survey. So they can't tell you whether they were teachers or what position they were in.
Okay. Okay.
We do have lots of data for you based on employee feedback and then the parent.
Was there any comments received?
Yeah, here they are.
They're right here.
We have them.
The parents, right
And
here.
share.
Oh, you haven't.
I have the parent.
Oh, I would like to see.
But I mean, I imagine it was good if we had 89% of a
Exactly.
positive response.
Saying, like, the parents,
It'll go both ways on the ones.
Yeah,
that say
it goes
no.
both ways.
It'll stay.
A lot of it-
Majority are saying yes, they're okay with the 3
Right.
week. It's just the ones that say no, right?
With childcare.
The childcare,
Childcare.
or just they thought it was too long for the child.
Short check.
but we don't,
Majority are yes.
we don't have that.
We have the 89 out of how many people?
It was only 500
500 out of 14,000, I mean,
out of
13,000.
thousands.
Staff?
There's only five.
That would be a sample.
Only 500, so that's not really a.
That's a.
But if you have concerns as a parent, you're gonna answer the survey. I know I would, if it affected,
But also remember,
Through email?
the social economic.
School messenger.
Some do not have Do you,
Here's a comment that her husband didn't take days
the majority of the people?
to take care of the kids. They couldn't
That's
afford
lower.
the
Think
weekly.
of those people.
And really on the weeks, it's one of them is 15 days, the other one is, the first one is 11, right? Calendar A is 11, then calendar B is 13, and then calendar C is 15 on our winter break.
I believe so.
And Ms. Riska, this is for you. So one of the, I guess an employee asked me if they can take 2 weeks off in Thanksgiving. We can add that to calendar D.
You know,
How about a week every month, every 6 weeks? I mean,
No. Think about it, but it's true.
Well, you can go year round and have a winter break. I mean,
what I had shared with Dr. King.
That's what
initially,
happened.
when we received all of the comments from the staff survey. She says, well, she asked me, well, what does the staff survey look like? And I said, well, if I have to summarize it for you, they want to start later in August. They want to finish before Memorial Day. They want a day off every month. They want 3 weeks at Christmas, a
Oh my
week at
God.
Thanksgiving, a week in October. So, but we, and what we talked about and what Dr. King shared with the committee is we have to be in school a minimum of 75,600 minutes.
a year.
And there's no way we can meet all of their wants.
Unless we extend the sick day.
Then this week.
We would have to, come to school for
At 8 to
10 hours
5.
a day, in order to make that happen.
Sure.
So the committee, they did a tremendous job. But they were looking at, trying to meet some of the requests, but there's not one calendar that could meet them all. So one of the calendars you'll see has the periodic days off. And then, just has that 3-week break at Christmas. And, I guess it just depends upon what you prefer. And then I also think that coming right off of that 3-week vacation probably made a lot of difference to teachers voting. It was like the 3 weeks was great. And I know it was
They
because
loved it.
they loved it.
They loved it.
They
The only thing I did bring up to that ad hoc DEIC committee, I said, when you look at calendar C, know that you're starting August 3rd, and I framed it as you're a systems thinker right now. You're not a classroom teacher, you're not an assistant principal, you're a systems thinker. You have to think of the entire district system and the impact it has at multiple levels, right? So I said, look, you're starting August 3rd. You don't have a day off, maybe one, which is October 12th, which is that national holiday, right? Indigenous people, the old Columbus Day, right? So, and then you have the week off until November, that fall break.
Right.
That's a long stretch,
On the.
a very long stretch, right? So
I
I did bring it up to them. I said, because then I don't want to hear, oh, we should get Labor Day off, or why don't we call a wellness day on Labor Day? No, that's the calendar that was approved, that was brought forward, that got the most votes. So you need to consider calendar C. You have to have enough stamina to be able to go, right, all those days until one in October for a break, a brief break, and then hit fall break and Thanksgiving. That's quite a ways to go.
And so when we met with the committee, the first day, when they worked on the calendars, after I reviewed them and made sure that we met all of the requirements, we came back and re-met the following day. And that was one of the points that Dr. King brought up, because that calendar C, originally, we started on August the 3rd, and there was not a single break until Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
And so
We worked in a bad weather day there.
they ended up moving that Monday after Easter over to October, so at least there was a break in the first, but now you don't have Monday off, so. And that's the thing that we have to look at is what is attendance gonna be like on Monday? Because we know that our kiddos or staff, may
Use their days. We'll have subs.
Because calendar C, you don't have Labor Day off.
No.
You're not gonna have the Monday after Easter.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have like an extra day in October or anything like that.
Mhm.
So second part of that was if we would lower, if we would consider lowering the number of contract days for teachers, since it's now by hours for students and not days. And so going back, I guess, to, the teachers at one time have 180 days.
187.
187.
7.
So that's something else they brought up to me too.
Yes.
So that being
And
central office.
And that, and I told that ad hoc committee, we can talk about going 180 and not do 7 days. But I will consider about the pay.
I was gonna say, because you brought up the
We
pay.
don't have to, we don't have to go 187. However, maybe we don't do a pay increase and you get that time,
Get those days.
right?
And you don't get 226, you get 220 and you lose,
It's strategic like that.
lose days.
You know, I have a problem, and I'm gonna say it, what I'm feeling right now. We're all about vacation and the learning loss and the learning.
And the teachers and the kids.
That is the most important. Here we are trying to fit everybody so they can have a vacation, a long vacation, whenever they want. And then where's the learning loss? All the curriculum that we have to do. We can't do it un día sí, un día no. No, it's like we have to. And the scores are there. Prove it.
Yeah.
Think about our kids.
Lunchtime.
Those are the ones that we have to please. Those are the ones we have to teach. Those are the ones that need to learn. And those are the ones that need to be in school. I am so sorry.
I'll show you this, as a
Don't be sorry, girl.
briefing for board, I'll show you the slide deck and I'll include it to you, what, I framed the entire, work with that ad hoc committee, and it speaks to that the students come first. And you have to be a systems thinker and think about how it impacts everyone in the system. And, so I'll provide that so you can see,
Their priority.
how we worked that,
There's very,
how they worked that day, right?
there's very little data that points to a learning loss during the winter. It's not enough data for that, but
It's a whole year.
with that being said, I think about like my unique situation with my children, right? And the regress on the routine. And so like with my son, I got to work with social stories and I'm gonna have to do it earlier and prepare that. So when we receive a lot of children that receive special education services that are gonna have to, their parents are gonna have to work on that, getting them back in that routine. And it took them a couple of days to adjust because it was
Oh,
a
it did.
break away from his regular routine. And our teachers work hard, to get them on those routines. So we have that population to look at. And then we have those kids, like for me, 1 or 2 or 3 kids that depend on our schools for food and for heater and things like that. To me, that's too many kids. So again, I won't necessarily say it's the learning loss because there's not a lot of backing on that, but the other things that I'm bringing up that we need to look at.
We mentioned that to the committee
And I don't think,
of all
I
children.
don't think the teachers are necessarily saying like, we want vacation, we want vacation. I think that maybe after all the testing early on in December and everything they've been through from August to December, they want a break because they're working the same amount of days. It's not like they're working less because they're getting the 3 weeks. I'm just saying how I see it. I think maybe if I was a teacher, I would want the 3 weeks off because I would need that mental break and that rest after all those EOC testing and the expectations. Maybe they do need the 3-week break and then come back and work hard. But it's like Dr. King says, look at the calendar and be sure that it's going to affect you somehow that you might not agree with. Another thing with the parents, I don't know if this was done online or how. So have you all considered, or did you all consider maybe sending something home with the students to their parents and allowing them, because I know you mentioned maybe they don't have Wi-Fi or they can't go in, they don't have. So did you all take that into consideration and maybe send a survey home and have the parents return the survey? I mean, you all think it was only 5? I think some parents it's a lot, in my opinion, because a lot of times.
13,000?
And,
13,000 kids.
13,000?
yeah,
We'd have to go back and really do statistics and see what a sampling size, I'll have to do that.
Because Dr. King mentioned that the people that responded, a bulk of them were our district employees. So we didn't necessarily maybe get to all
You separate that.
parents.
You look
It's small, it is a small amount of our parents that don't work here.
Right.
Right.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If they, maybe they would have sent a survey home.
And I think like going back to what you're saying, yeah, like it's great to have a 3-week break, on the holidays, you get to go see family or whatever, but you gotta look at the rest of the calendar and say, hey, it's gonna be a while before you get another break.
Right,
Well,
So-
that's
my point.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
curriculum is not gonna get any easier. They're struggling right now with curriculum. Bluebonnet is easy for a lot of our students, and they're finding it very difficult. So that 3-week break, it did hinder some kids having to go back, and they're even asking to, well, this is what I've heard. Can I stay for tutoring, ma'am? Because I forgot.
Test.
So you're gonna see that this second semester, you're gonna have more kids in tutorials that didn't used to stay, that are staying now.
But maybe that's a good thing.
It is,
No,
it is, but a lot of kids are they wanna learn it and they want to, practice it, okay, right there and then. And the kids who don't get it, they're having to need that extra time
right,
to learn it. And maybe that child has never experienced that.
Yeah.
And now he feels like, oh, I'm getting, I don't remember.
behind.
I stayed behind.
We're gonna have a mix of everything. But like from, on my end, my daughter loves the Bluebonnet and I like it too, homework. And so we're gonna see a lot of different, feedback. It's still new, it's still implement.
You, that's what
They're
I'm
coming in still to assist and help teachers to deliver it. So again, this is baseline like
Data.
that we're gonna be tracking as we're.
You saw the data of the Algebra 1 cohort that did get
Yeah.
higher. It was amazing on the results.
Yeah.
And that's Algebra 1.
Mhm.
So you're thinking of these ninth graders, I call them COVID babies that had their elementary years disrupted, and yet they performed extremely well with Algebra 1 Bluebonnet, despite their disruption in math, which the state shows that if anything took a hit during COVID, it was mathematics, not reading language arts. So I was so impressed with those results in December with Algebra 1, with Bluebonnet. We'll see how we are with the elementary, but just the results that are showing us in Algebra 1, we have never, ever seen results like that. So obviously it is a high quality instructional material that we're putting in front of children every single day.
Mhm.
And that excites me with the future of where it's headed with math instruction in our district. So, yeah, and I'll tell you what's challenging about it. A lot of us in here, when we learned mathematics, it was procedural, right?
This is conceptual.
We didn't get it to the conceptual piece of it.
Mhm.
We learned what we needed to learn for right then and there, and we were able to regurgitate exactly what was taught for whatever assessment, quiz, you name it, whether it was a formative assessment or summative assessment. Because a lot of us didn't grow up to be math teachers or mathematicians. But nevertheless, these instructional materials provide a balance, the just right balance of conceptual math, the conceptual portion of teaching math, and the procedural. So gone are the days where you're just spitting out and, the algorithm. Now it's the conceptual, the why of math. And it's so beautiful to see the coherence of kinder through Algebra 1, and it's now going to Algebra 2 and geometry for the state of Texas, because math tells a story from kinder to 12th grade. And now the state has finally, I believe, in my opinion, gotten it right on telling the complete story, not chapters that are so incoherent. And so now we're headed in the right direction. It's just gonna take time because us as parents learned math very differently than the way it's being taught now. The conceptual and procedural, that just right balance. So it's really hard.
Teachers learned it
And
that way.
and teachers are having to learn how to teach
Yeah.
that conceptual piece, because sometimes we'll teach the way we were taught.
Right.
And so they're having to really internalize the lessons and prep a lot, right? And that's a good thing. That's that's what should be happening all the time, right? You're preparing your lessons, but you're internalizing and you know what instructional coaching moves you're gonna make at which time and where you're gonna pivot for all students to be able to master whatever you're teaching that day. It's teaching for mastery, not teaching because I taught it and I gotta go on to the next unit. And
So now we just
So-
have a balance with our calendar.
it's.
Yeah.
Well, it's, yeah, exactly.
Get every,
And you're absolutely right. It's a challenging and it's conceptual and everything. But if, I don't know if you all been reading, but I have on the 27, 28 new test. It's gonna be a good one. So we have time right now to do all this conceptual teaching that needs to be done because it needs to be done because it's coming.
I think that's exciting. I had predicted that would happen because because TEA had already been piloting the Texas Through Assessment Year project. They've been doing that for several years already. Mission did not decide to pilot. What it is, they're doing the beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year. They're chunking. Instead of doing just one assessment at the end of the year on that particular day, how did our children do? Now the state of Texas is moving towards, which is House Bill 8, transitioning to BOI, MOI, EOI, and then they'll get a summative score. So you're right, it's gonna be a totally new, big change.
That's getting life ready.
That's how it should have been done this whole time, I think. But it's a big switch. And so we'll have to think about, because we'll already be implementing with this calendar, the changes based on no more district benchmark testing that we've been doing, that's very STAR. That's gone. So based on this calendar too, you also have to take into consideration, when would a BOY be administered? Probably sometime in October. When will an MOY, middle of the year, be tested? Maybe February. When will the end of the year be tested? And so we have to look at that as well. And how many instructional days are in this reporting period, in this reporting period, to make sure that we're getting as many days, like Ms. Ramirez and Ms. Bain are saying about getting in as much instructional time prior to the end of the year
To
assessment
that middle of the year one.
and the middle of the year one.
What, January?
Because if that's
We're not gonna have time.
if they're out 3 weeks and then that MOI is administered like in February, think about the time that they'll be out. So that's a huge implication and consideration to take, right, as a board and as district and as campus educators, right, to consider.
Study it.
Thank you. We will bring that item back next week with the results.
I'm wondering though, if y'all could give us like feedback and then maybe, I'm wondering, because we won't bring it forward until next week, and then just give us any feedback, right, on, which you are here, but anything that you think of when I send you updated
Feedback on the calendar.
feedback on the calendar and so forth, so that way you can.
Well, would the district consider possibly sharing the survey on social media or through email or Class Dojo to see if we can get more feedback from parents that are not district staff?
So we contemplated social media, but that leaves it open.
To the whole world.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
they'll-
Like, that might not even, maybe just through email?
We did Class Dojo, and
Okay.
those were the results that we received. 509.
And it'd be Class Dojo with,
Or school messenger.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, because I didn't get my,
I did try Class Dojo.
Right, it didn't.
There were some elementary campus principals that sent the link out in Class Dojo. Not all of them, but I know some of them sent it out to get their parents to participate.
That was our initial. We wanted to do school, Class Dojo, and we had those technical difficulties. But we can.
you think we can have that ask again?
Send it through the campuses to the
Yeah,
parents.
that's good.
Perfect.
Have the
And
print.
then here's my thing with tech devices. Y'all, I don't know, but most people have a cell phone. And that's where they gain internet access. And that's where most of their work is done, through a phone, not on a desktop, not on a laptop. So it's testing the system to see, let's send it. And if they get it through their phone. And that's where most people conduct their work.
On the phone.
we're handling an operating system in our hands, right? That is equivalent to a laptop. And so
If you title it,
it is.
Book with, even, I know with this, most of them experienced what progress report night.
Uh-huh.
They could have done a quick survey.
I went my last
But
time.
I'm saying something will help the parents out.
parental liaisons do we have and the people that go to meetings? Well, that's another one.
But I think to like, if they get it through their mobile device, that's.
Just put school
That'd be interesting.
and they'll get it. Do it. Just title it, school chisme and.
For every student that turns in their parents.
Hey, Betty, come on, come on.
Hey, what?
We're already
13,000.
We're doing that for registration.
I mean, if you all really want those surveys to go up, you do what it
sponsored by
takes.
Betty.
Sponsored by me.
Betty.
That's right.
We are gonna try to find a way to get the surveys.
Cookies or something, bag
One
of
of the
chips.
tips that we did find was that the recipients had to have a Gmail account, and so we'll.
Oh, I don't even have a Gmail.
Pues, cuando-
I'm like, they make fun of me. They call me a boomer because I have a Yahoo. So.
Yeah.
I have AOL now first.
Yeah, very well.
Betty, don't worry, I have AOL.
AOL.
Ooh.
I don't have anything.
They have dial.
Senior.
You're the dial up.
I still have a flip phone.
So we will work on that and we will get you some results for next week. Moving on to item number 3. This is an information item. The annual Texas Academic Performance Report has been released. That is our paper report, and we are going to have a public hearing on Wednesday, February 11th, 2026 at 6:15. That is next Wednesday before the regularly scheduled board meeting. Are there any questions about any of the curriculum and instruction items?
Amen.
That concludes my portion. Thank you.
Thank you.
You,
Which year will be?
you know, I don't like doing in
24, 25 or 25, 26?
it was 24, 25.
From June to June?
But what do they do?
The taper report is the 24, 25.
I don't like
but.
I don't believe in that.
And it's all the data elements that TEA monitors and,
Behind.
yeah, it's for the academic year of 24, 25, but then you have some lagging data elements in there embedded. So, and the lagging data could be our CCMR.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so yes, it is 2024, 25, but I can't give you because there's some lagging data there too from the previous class. Graduating class.
Okay.
All right, section 5 is facilities and operations. We have Mr. Rick Rivera.
Good evening, President Reina, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. King, members of the audience. The first agenda item I have is final completion as betterment fund allowance, less liquidated damages, final payment for the Mission CISD Facility Enhancement City Project Packages 1, 3, and 4. This is Excellent Fence, and we have Mr. Charlie Garcia from CCI. At this time, we've been working with Excellent Fence on final completion, yet we're not quite ready there. However, there are still some items that we can take care of. And Mr. Charlie Garcia can present on that.
Evening, Rick.
Hello,
Hello, good evening, hi, everyone. This is President, board members, Dr. King. How are y'all this evening? Just wanted to say with the final things that we're going through for both projects, both packages, 1, 3, 4, and number 2, we have meetings this week to go through the 100% pay apps, right? And I think we got through those items. You know, we had an understanding on 1, 3, and 4. There is people that don't know, people with facilities, you know. Total contract amount was 1.7 million for package 1, 3, and 4. Out of all those schools, everything's complete. We've issued substantial completion for all the packages and so forth. The balance paid to date is 1.2,888,591.49 from the 1.7. $1.715962 million project. The balance still left on those is, it's gonna be about 400,000. I think I have it. Oh, 427,370.51 cents. If those get approved for those payouts on the 100%, we'll have a balance left of the contingency for any other negotiated items or anything like that that we need with this contractor of 87,800. And it is our recommendation to go ahead and as per Mr. Rivera's direction, or he knows where we're at on that for this project and I think where we're at the other one as well.
Okay, on this, we still have some change orders that are pending that Excellent Fence advised us of a few months ago. And unless they're not gonna bring them forward, we still have to bring those change orders forward also, along with payout. And it's nothing that is major. As far as I know, it's just some changes they made that we have to bring forward to the board. And if all that's left over is just contingency,
Right, it'll be the contingency after the 100% payment of about 87,000, close to 90,000 on the contingency. And the change orders that they've approached us with don't reach that.
yeah, don't reach that. Right. So it's not final completion until they bring forward the change orders, and we're not doing final payment.
That's only for number two?
No, that's for
One,
1, 3,
three, and four.
All of them.
1, 3, and 4.
1, 3, and 4, package 1, 3, and 4.
That's Excellent Fence, package 1, 3, and 4.
Would this be available for next week?
Monday,
Next week? It'll be available for that
the change
time,
orders,
everything?
we've been, especially Mr. Garcia has been meeting with them. And for a few months, we've been asking for those change orders. And I don't know if you wanna say anything.
Yeah, I mean,
what's going on.
what we're experiencing with Excellent Fence is they're a smaller operation than the other contractor. And they don't, they've had some personnel problems in the office, my understanding. So they presented some change orders, the numbers are being negotiated and kind of like, okay, they have one number, we have another. And so we're looking at that. I think what they're looking for is to go ahead and get paid on the 100%, and they're fully understanding that we need to negotiate the final payout number 4 and the final closeout. So that's where we're at on that.
How does that work if what the 87,000 that we keep, that's contingency, that's our own money? So how does?
He's saying it's gonna come off of there.
Right,
how
well,
does that
it'll
relate to-
be a credit back to you guys if there's no justifiable or approved modifications to it that you guys we present to you guys. But right now, we don't have a presentation for what they're asking for, because we're still negotiating with them.
Do you have the amount, how many change orders?
It'll be one. There's several changes that they've identified as cost items. I do have our running spreadsheet is tracking, I don't know, small little stuff that we talked about in the field. 40, 50 items that were identified between our firm and them, that I still need to, coordinate with Mr. Rivera's office. Out of those 40, 50 items, 30 of them have no cost that they're not presenting, right? 20 of them do have a cost of either a credit or they're asking for a change order, an excess amount, change order amount, right? So that's what we're tracking.
I have a question. Is this the first contract that they work on? Or are they new to this, or what is?
I can't answer, and
A contract is a contract, they need to follow the contract. Service rendered, you get paid.
I hesitate to provide an answer on that because I don't want to speak on their behalf.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I'm sure, but I'm just questioning like, how come they cost items and then, they can't get the items the numbers to jive, so.
And mind you, some of the numbers are similar, but some of the numbers are off by pennies. Or stuff like that. 10 cents, 20 cents here, but I know your auditors, your purchasing department want
That's
everything
right.
to the penny.
Well, because if we get audited,
Yeah.
what happens?
Absolutely, because it's a grant.
It's a grant.
Also, we have tax dollars, and so that's how it works.
If you get audited, who's gonna answer? Who's gonna take the blame?
And my concern, Mr. Garcia, is just to keep our own money contingency, because if they say, well, that's our money. I would think that we'd keep it some of their money, like say the retainage.
Correct, that's how it works. The retainage, that's what there's a retainage and there's a contingency.
Yes.
Right, so the retainage is to hold back money to make sure they're getting the job done. And we determine that at a certain point, and then we can pay that, or not a certain point, at 100%. Right, and then we get through the final negotiations. Is there, $500 here, or is there $499 here? Or whatever, that they come back to us with. And mind you, I want to say also that a lot of those items were no cost items that we had talked about in the field, and were going to be a cost. But ultimately they came back and said, well, no, we have to have a cost after they did their final tallies.
That would be, I would feel more comfortable.
What does that mean? I mean, can you give me, because it doesn't make any, okay, it's like, no one does anything for free. So I'm kind of like, it always comes back, right?
Okay.
And so give me an example of that.
Give me an example here, like say this podium is the campus, right? We have a fence here, we have a fence here, or we have a fence inside, we have a fence here, right? As we're coming into the entrances, we see that there's a tree, there's landscaping, there was a monument put up in between the time that, we got the drawings out, or the campus did something, right? Well, now we moved it 10 feet over to kind of capture and leave that on either the outside or leave it in the secure side. Small things like that is what we did.
So if it was maybe clearing some brush, like some bushes, you didn't charge that, but if it was like a full,
Right, another one is we went out there and as we were looking at, we had a position of a gate in a certain spot. Well, after we were out there and looking at it, there were some irrigation lines or some electrical lines that were hit or run into. Or we thought on second thought, maybe it's better to move the gate 20 feet over because for whatever reason, right? Some instances were handicap parking spaces. We said, okay, we don't want to block handicap parking spaces, so let's move it behind the sidewalk. Right, instead of putting the gate at the front of the sidewalk, let's move it behind the sidewalk, and now we have a gate or a fence behind the sidewalk. And we'll have that gate in another position to get access into the front door. Small things like that. So there was panels that were less, panels that were more, give or take at each campus. We identified each one and some were a wash. So that's why there was 50, 60 modifications with no cost. And that's what we'll present. But then some of the costs, they're coming back and saying, yes, I have to cost it because it costed me extra work or whatever. And ultimately, I'm gonna give you a cost.
so all these change orders are coming in like as a bulk.
Correct.
And were you ever made aware that there were going to be, that these instances were taking place, Rick?
Yes, because I was involved in all of them.
Okay,
Yeah, I was involved in all the modifications, everything out in the field. And so was the district. I mean, we weren't up there by ourselves for the most part making any decisions. A lot of times your personnel wasn't Mr. Rivera in person, but his office, Leandro at one point, TJ that he came on board afterward.
As you all know, through all the other projects, we bring change orders as they come.
Yes. Because
Not at the end of the
that is the norm.
That is the norm. That's the process, the system we've used.
Don't get this wrong, it's changes that were associated with no cost.
But now they might have costs. So wouldn't it have been more convenient, better to just bring the change order, whether it results in a cost or not?
Which we tried to do with this particular vendor, but he kept assuring us, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it out in the field with no cost.
And again, that's fine, but it's coming back.
It's coming back.
It's coming back to,
Tried to come back if he was going so sure of himself.
I've asked the same question and he kind of was like, it's too much of a cost that he was willing to bear at the end of the project.
But he has justification for these changes.
we don't know, because he hasn't brought it forward.
We'll just submit it to legal and then see
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Where do we stand legally with all these changes? Because apparently the contract was for hundred and forty-five days or whatever day time limit on the contract to get it done. And it's been it's about a year already.
Well, I want to mention that the projects are done. So the days really aren't coming into play.
Not anymore.
For the most part, no.
But we haven't had an update since the last meeting where we were told some gates may or may not work. So this is an update since then
There,
that we've had a presentation.
and there's different things that we'll have to, speak with legal about, because, we have substantial completion. However, there's 30 days after substantial that final needs to be met. There's all kinds of stipulations in the contract. What is required to consider what final completion is? Not necessarily that the fencing was installed. We need as-built drawings. We need binders with insurance papers. There's other administrative items that is required to be final. It's administrative work and it's in the contract. It's not necessarily that the fence is not there. It is. It's just all this other documents that need to be submitted to be final, because it's taken up all our time on asking and asking for months and months. So it's time consuming
We didn't record.
for us. So is there possible liquidated damages for not meeting final? That's something we need to discuss with legal. Also, all over, there's 3 contracts, A 101, B 101, and B 201. There's 3 different contracts with the architects and the contractors. All throughout those contracts, there's sections that state the only decision-making person or body is the Board of Trustees and its designee, which is the superintendent. No other staff can make any decisions that will affect cost or time. So if they say there was a staff there, Leandro was there, they have no authority to make any decisions whether, if it affected cost or time.
Right, but then, so we weren't working with costs, so we were outside of that parameter, in my belief.
But they came up,
But now they're coming back.
now they're coming up.
So now,
The other thing is final versus completion. Yeah, they had 30 days to get the final, but that was everything physically in the field, and we established final for both projects, both contractors.
but again, going back to the contract is with the board and the designee. So again, we haven't received an update that it was even completed. I mean, I could drive by and see that the fence is up, but I don't know if if the gates are working. From what we last got, they weren't. So we, like, again, this is the first time that we get a presentation since that time. So we haven't heard it from our architect's mouth or from the contractors that it has been, or from our director,
Because it hasn't been.
that it is completed.
We haven't
So-
been invited to come.
Yeah, because it hasn't been completed. We've been communicating, it hasn't been completed.
We will invite you to come and present.
It has not, in my position, the projects are not completed
Right.
as per contract. And I follow the contract, but again, legal.
And I'm not comfortable with it. I'm not comfortable with changes of scope of work or addendums or things like that that did not come to the board, which are the owners of that contract. Or that, let's say, for the sake of, we have to move this tree or we have to do this, we have a superintendent who was a designee that was easily able to be contacted, and you know what? She updates us every week, so we could have gotten feedback from
I
her.
want to say, we kind of went through the protocol, but we had some representatives from the city, from the district there.
However, not as per contract.
But you can't do a change to approve it.
Yes.
So you can talk about it with those people. Hey, I think we're gonna have to do this.
I don't want to reiterate or anything like that, but I mean, legally, we can do a change without any cost consideration. That's in the contract.
It is, and again, Mr. Then, there is a clause that if there's no cost involved or time, the architect,
Which we were working with that.
the architect does have that leeway to make an on-site decision. It has to be followed up with written approval from the district. And just making a decision there with not following up with all the rest, that's where,
That's where we are now.
And you know, not
That's
just,
where we're now.
just because legally you can do something,
Doesn't mean.
maybe means that, I mean, on a professional level and a
I completely
Communicating.
agree. So There was communication.
But you're saying there was an employee of the district there.
Because I want to defend myself.
He's saying there was an employee
Oh,
at the right?
you guys were there.
Yeah.
And the running up the chain of command, I mean, I given it to the person who was there.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to take all of
And
that
again,
into
we can go back and
consideration.
forth because in the contract, it doesn't say running it up the chain, somebody's there. You could ask a custodian, you could ask a security guard. They have no authority.
Which is what I experienced when that gentleman from one of the companies said that he had a security guard or a staff member from the front or
Well,
the
we
check
made
the
sure it
gates.
wasn't any staff We made sure it wasn't any staff from the campus. I mean, we had staff from,
In that department.
So we're still gonna have to,
So we'll, yeah,
I'll take a look at it. Yeah, and we'll have,
you know,
legal
we're here to help out.
advisors.
And I know some of these payments have been out since August for this contractor and the other contractor, that, you know, in my opinion, I'll just go with this, that should be paid out 100%, right? Also in the contract, there's interest free. But it's kind of negotiated out with another contractor, so,
What was that company's name again? SO?
so
That's the second agenda item.
Okay, we'll just wait.
This one, that I still not comfortable paying them 100% and only keeping our retainage, because that's our own money.
Yes.
We're not holding any of their money.
right.
I would rather feel more
well, no,
comfortable.
that's wrong. The contingencies are your money.
Yes.
The retainage is.
Yeah, that,
Retention.
we're only holding back our own money. I would feel more comfortable if we withhold 10% retainage, which is their money. Because they have something to lose. This way, they have nothing to lose. Because they're playing with our money.
Then you're changing the terms of the contract at that point.
Well,
Well, then I guess we both are, maybe.
less
A little,
retainage.
right?
So it would be less retainage.
Yeah, so
Payment,
we'll,
less retainage.
so I think we should have legal.
Yeah, let legal advice, look into it and advise us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, you should, but
The only thing is, at the end of the day, we are responsible. We're held accountable for this contract. You take it,
Section code 1115, board members. That's what we do.
Yeah.
yeah,
Doing our due diligence here with these
Yeah,
questions.
because we are responsible.
We're responsible.
Paperwork is not turned in and we can't prove it. How can you pay?
It's like I've said from the when I first started. I have a fiduciary duty
Yes,
to
you do.
protect the taxpayers' money, our local monies, and this is grant money, state money. I'm here to protect the Board of Trustees, our superintendent, and myself. And I'm up here presenting to you, and many times as administration recommends. I cannot recommend something I am not comfortable with.
Yeah.
Because that puts everybody in a big bind, should it come back. Because we're not gonna go back to the contractor, we're not gonna go back to the architect. It's gonna come the board, and the board, you're gonna ask Dr. King, and where does it end up? Mr. Rivera, you recommended. And I will, and as I mentioned many times, in meetings and in the executive summary, I do not feel comfortable. But again, I'm doing my fiduciary duty to protect taxpayers' money and the Board of Trustees.
Thank you.
And we are too, because we're all under oath.
Well, I'm just worried about the fine print, because when you write a federal grant like this, they're gonna, I mean, we're playing with their money. And there's a lot of fine print in that contract also, in that grant. And if once we send the final grant back, what we did with this monies and the itemized monies, if there's a question, they're gonna come back to the district. And that's where we as a board need to really know what the fine print was on that grant. Whoever wrote the grant needs to make sure, because they can come back and say, okay, you didn't do this with the grant, so therefore it's our local monies are gonna have to pay them back.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Fill in the information, because did we receive this grant in 2021? Is that?
yeah, it's an old grant.
It's an old grant.
It's an old grant.
Okay,
The first one, we have received 2 grants.
back in 2021.
There's 3. Yes, there's 3, yes.
And the architect was hired in, was it April of 2024?
Well, there's the first grant, we took care of the fencing at secondary campuses.
Okay.
That was a different architect.
Sam
And
Garcia.
then when we went with a
We were not-
additional grant, the larger $62,000 along with another one. That's when the rest of the campuses, the elementary campuses,
Got in.
got in, and that's where we contracted with, Mr. Garcia.
People, do you remember put in for that? That's second part of the grant,
One.
Contractors or?
architects.
And I just want to say, we weren't hired to administer the grant.
No,
We're not hired to administer.
you were just hired to,
We were told of the grant and we were given the grant parameters.
right.
We're not hired to administer the grant. I just want to make that clear because it sounds like maybe that's, or you might be.
No, I just was curious that how many people, because I know it was a first part of the grant, which again, I wasn't on the board yet, but I was following already, was Sam Garcia Architects, okay? And for the second part, we only had one.
Yes, we went out for requests for qualifications, and, RFQs, and there was only one.
Is that something that we see normally or?
It varies on the project, and, I know for the first one where Sam Garcia, there was several that submitted RFQs. There's a couple. In this case, it was just that one.
Are you okay with when we finished with Sam Garcia? Was everything good on the first phase of that?
Everything went very well, and it was, as a matter of fact, Excellent Fence that was a contractor.
I had to go back and read because I wasn't here, because this story connects all the way back to 2021, right? And so I find it now I also find it odd that the first architect didn't put in for the second. But anyway, I did notice that Excellent Fence, a small company, was able to do that first phase fine and not this one.
Yeah, it was only the second day, so is,
At schools, it was a smaller project.
a smaller project. This, it's all the rest of the elementaries.
Yeah.
And, they received, the lowest proposal and the highest rank for packages 1, 2, and 4. And, they didn't have sufficient bonding to submit for package number 2. That's why, if anybody's wondering, how come they did 1, 3, and 4 and not number 2? They did not have sufficient bonding, so they only, did 1, 3, and 4, and they were the lowest proposal.
Thank you.
The second item is for package number 2. Again, that's CG5, Mr. Garcia, and we have SLR construction on that. I would like to ask to pull that item. We have been meeting with Mr. Garcia, SLR, our maintenance department, Dr. King and I, on trying to answer some questions I've had on those projects, and we've met a couple of times. We even met this week, and I believe that we're close to bring something forward, but in reviewing some more paperwork, I still have some questions, and I do not feel comfortable bringing any agenda item forward on that project, because I also don't want it to be, I know they're in the audience, and I don't want it to be a contentious meeting.
We did reconcile some of the credits.
Yes,
So,
we did reconcile some of the credits. Yes, we did.
that was yesterday. And so we just have one clarifying question as of today.
Yes.
And so we just need to meet with them to discuss that some of the wondering we have.
Well, that's good. Your meeting.
Oh, yes.
This is important.
There it's a little different than the other one. Here,
It could still be put on the 11th. We don't know yet, depending on that clarifying question we have.
the only question I have is, how do I word that agenda item? Because it won't be final or anything else. So,
I can give you language for it, depending on what you want to do.
Yeah.
okay,
We just call me tomorrow in the morning
okay,
and I'll give a language for it and we can just add it on there. And if it's ready for action, great. If it's not, then we hold it at the meeting as opposed to taking it off maybe between now and then you can get the question answered.
okay. Then I'll do that. And once again, we're dealing with millions of dollars and it's grant and that's the reason why. And I understand SLR's point. They want their money.
Yeah.
However, it's gonna be I'm not gonna be rushed, point blank.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna come back to the board.
I have, just because Mr. Garcia, sorry, Coach. You want to go ahead? Just because Mr. Garcia mentioned TJ and I see him back there. I know TJ hasn't been here for that long, so I don't know if TJ wants to share some, just because he named him as being there and seeing all these changes, I want to say that TJ came
No, it
on
was
almost when it was done,
It was
almost when it was
Leandro.
finished.
Most of the changes.
I
did, yeah.
Okay, because I did hear him say TJ. I did hear him say his name, so I was kind of like,
Leandro.
Came in way at the end of the.
yeah, but I think he did say TJ's name too, so I just like,
I know, most of these little modifications were not.
or, yeah, he was here later after the.
Adrian Hernandez was.
Adrian was the.
Yeah. Does Adrian see that?
Dr. King, I know that, Mr. Garcia mentioned, when they had their meetings, I know Mr. Rivera, you weren't there, but there was representation there. Do they turn in a report to you, or is it documented that they met and everything this is what was discussed, or how do?
They,
Directed to.
from my understanding, there is meetings held, but, again, Mr. Garcia can answer, and he's mentioned, there were on-site.
Yeah, that's what that's what I'm asking. Your representatives that are there, are they reporting back to you, this is what was discussed, but is it documented that this is what happened at that meeting?
If there was decisions made, there's usually a follow-up, whether it's my staff or Mr. Garcia mentions, but like he mentioned, per contract, and again, you would need to ask, Mr. Van, decisions can be made by the architect. As moving a line, he mentioned, you can move a line because there's an irrigation line or a tree and there's no cost. He has that leeway. Yes, he does. But if it's,
And I get that. My question was, do they document?
Was a document.
This was discussed at this meeting, Mr. Rivera, boom, boom, boom. That way we have that.
if it's a meeting,
Like minutes.
it's the architect that conducts those meetings and
Okay.
presents those minutes.
And how does that information get back to you?
He emails it to me.
Oh, okay.
Or your staff,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Right, and I
That's what I was just wondering if ours,
You were copied on all.
if your office is letting you know, hey, this was discussed, because you're here saying, I didn't hear that, or I heard, was it discussed then?
And if,
And
and of course, I meet with my staff, usually in projects, construction projects, large ones, there is a, project manager that takes on those duties. We do not have one. We limited that position years ago. So we send out maintenance staff, whether it be an assistant coordinator, a coordinator, the director, or it may be just a plumber. But again, they have directives. You do not agree to anything, any change. My staff have those directives, written directives. Many times you do not agree to anything because you do not have that authority. Only the board of trustees and only.
so then your staff doesn't tell you, this was asked of us. We didn't provide any answer, no change or anything. You get that from the architect. He sends it to you.
Yes, yes. That's correct.
And you have those? You have record of?
Some I don't get. I didn't receive them. That is the question similar to excellent fence on those change orders. When I met with them, I said, okay, Mr. Rivera, there's gonna be a couple of change orders. I said, what are you talking about? Said, oh, on this campus, we did this, we did that. You didn't say nothing?
Email.
No, we didn't say nothing. On this campus, we did this, we did, now we want to charge. You didn't say nothing? No. And again, correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, yeah.
So as a safeguard now, are we talking to our, was it Leandro, TJ? Do we have now a form that?
Protocol?
A protocol where they keep their minutes, that way you make sure you get something, and in the event that Charlie doesn't share or it doesn't, or whatever, right? Because it only helps to have more,
Yes.
documentation.
And as I mentioned, there's 3 contracts throughout the contract, throughout the meeting minutes, through pre-proposal, pre-construction. Every month when we send notices to the contractors, engineers, architects, we have a board workshop. It's standard. There are no changes to be approved unless the board approves it. They all know that. Why some people don't follow it, I don't know.
Well, we don't, I don't know. What? I don't have access to the board, so I can't put any agenda item on your workshop or anything, or even your agenda. So
Right.
you ask, why wasn't it done? Like, I can't do it. That has to come through you, your office.
But if changes were made that
Then we would-
affected money and time,
Right.
they have not been presented.
So I want to just caveat, there was no change for cost that we were discussing from the whole throughout the project.
Okay.
This was presented at the end. All the other changes to expedite this, they were coming in fast and furious. We're trying to meet the deadlines for both contractors, right? I'll make it a point that we had to make a lot of these modifications and you can mention change orders. They're not necessarily change orders. We haven't presented a change order. They're modifications, they're changes. So make that understood, because change orders has a money connotation.
So I'm not gonna pay anything.
That's
We're not
up
gonna
to
pay
you.
anything?
That's up to you.
Because it looks like there will be change orders and there will be some money to have to be paid out. So we're saying like yes and no.
But you don't mind if I just, here's my 20. The point is, these are coming fast and furious, and to Mr. Rivera's, mentioning, maybe you didn't have the personnel to go out there, because we did have different instances where we'd reach out and there was a different person that would come out and let's meet at this school, because, we have a question about a gate, how we're gonna do it. We need to post on the right side, left side, whatever we want to do, right? Whatever the modification was, let's talk about it. Let's go out there, let's do it. A lot of times to get out of the way and expedite the service and to expedite these things, the contractor offered as well, let me copy everybody on the list. In fact, we were instructed, copy everybody. Mr. Rivera, Linda Ortiz, Mrs. Ortiz, Adrian, TJ. And so a lot of these emails are documented on people's carbon copies. A lot of these modifications, right? They're not necessarily directly to Mr. Rivera, but everybody was copying those things. We had to move forward without a response to say yes or no. And that was also my caveat with the contractors. Look, we can't move forward without it. If there's going to be a cost, I'll move forward. But I was assured
I mean, but,
most of the time that there wasn't going to be.
and I understand
Okay,
if,
let's go.
let's just say on your defense, that administration was not being responsive with you. Lead director and everybody that was CC'd in those emails. But that's why we have a superintendent. So you could have reached out to the superintendent or directly to any of the board members sitting here that I know you personally know. Because that's why we're here. Obviously, we're not gonna direct you and tell you, yes, do that, Charlie, but I'm gonna call my superintendent. Let her know that you're having these issues with communication to make sure that we're better able to
Some of the other
get going.
meetings as well, the pre-construction meeting and all that, we go through a chain of command process and we iterate, who am I supposed to contact? Even though it's in the contract, I was never told to contact Dr. King.
That's incorrect. We have the minutes of the pre-construction and pre-proposal, and it specifically states the owner to make all decisions is the Board of Trustees and its designee, Dr. King. And I have all the documents that prove that.
So legal, can you take a look at this and,
Yes, we're gonna.
Back to us.
I don't want to say too much just because we're an open session.
yeah.
I don't want to opine on anything legal. But yes, we'll take a look at it, see where it's at. Just from a practical standpoint, I would just advise that there be a sense of urgency in closing this out.
Yes.
Just because also us sitting on it also exposes us. So I know no one's gonna pressure you to go faster, but there is a sense of urgency that we should be addressing this sooner rather than later as a district for our own interests as well.
Yes.
Can I mention one thing? What is the amount of our contention?
I don't know. And so I don't want to talk about amounts or anything right now, just because what I'm trying to do is figure out what the sticking points are and assess those sticking points from a legal exposure perspective before bringing something for the board to approve.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie, and thank you, Mr. Rivera.
Thank you.
So he's gonna
Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
further notice. Until further.
No, we're gonna add it to the agenda for there in case we're ready to make
Legal
it.
language.
Yes.
The next is the increase the budget for the Veterans Memorial High School CTE project. We have Dr. Avila and Mr. George Castaneda from DPR. If you recall, we've had an issue with the CTE chiller at Veterans Memorial High School. So we had to rent a temporary chiller, and what we presented and the board approved is originally DBR had a plan for the entire Veterans Memorial High School, and as they mentioned, this is Veterans Memorial High School. We didn't have enough money to do the entire Veterans High School, so we isolated the CTE portion of it. However, we asked for a budget of $300,000 to replace the one that we have using a temporary. However, now, if we're gonna do it right, there's two chillers. If we're gonna do it right, we're bringing forward, let's do both of them. Now that we're there. Because if we do one, then who's to say 6 months, a year from now, the other one is gonna go down and it's gonna be, why didn't you fix both of them now that you were there? Because it was recommended initially to do both of them.
To both of them.
And we're asking for an additional $270,000, and that will come from the other HVAC projects that we're gonna discuss, their contingencies, or the $2.5 million that we did not use when we canceled the O'Grady and Pearson AC projects. Again, in discussion with Mr. Avila on DVR, it's, you're eventually gonna have to do it. So do we wanna do it now, or do we just proceed with that one? And then wait till the other one fails?
You have Mr. Lopez, up to the podium.
Yeah, Mr. Lopez?
Yes. Well, this
have
would
the money?
kind of caught my attention because I know we had given them 300,000.
Yeah, that's what,
that's why
we're asking.
So we know we took this from our committed fund balance. So again, if we're gonna we're gonna double up to fix two of them. I'm just gonna massage the committed fund balance to take from one piece to make him whole. So that would be the plan, because this came from the committed for construction. So that's what I would recommend.
Comfortable doing that?
Because we're still pending on the contingency of the other HVAC, right, with
With
Brian,
and
Ultimate Memorial, Salinas.
Bitkiv and Salinas.
Yeah.
And I'll show what our contingencies.
Where it's sitting at right now, right?
And
However, we would take from, if the board their wishes are to move forward with the replacement of that additional one, Jaime, then you're still gonna like move from fund,
Massage the committed construction, on the line from there. On all the detail for the committed for construction, we're gonna take from one of the lines to pay the.
You have to tell me what massage means. Because I'm over here thinking like I need a massage after this.
Take from there, move it to the.
What school is
but hang on to the contingency of those other,
schools?
Yeah, that's something that.
so that way we know that
The Rick, to see, okay, this.
it's not saying, oh, we
What are the,
extra resources here, and then we're gonna.
see to know what the dollar amounts are on those contingencies to see if it's enough to cover.
oh, it's in the hundreds of thousands.
Yes.
It is.
Okay, so I'm just trying yeah, okay.
And that, we're trying to massage it in our heads too.
So which one is the one that doesn't get a massage? Who's gonna be left out of the massage?
So, yeah, so this, yeah.
Better in our best interest, though.
Workable.
Oh, yeah.
It's work.
Oh, yes.
Money's still in construction.
The CT system, when it was made, it's for two chillers.
It's for two.
Yes.
Yes.
So then it would be, oh, we just put one? Like, that really doesn't make
Because
sense.
Well, we need to.
It's working.
Oh, one isn't working.
But
One's rented,
say it's not gonna go out
soon,
soon,
They were-
next year.
same time.
Did our,
Guys will have two new ones and let's.
we'll see, yeah.
Facility studies showed that they needed two chillers.
Okay.
But for money,
One was urgent and one wasn't that.
so
Okay.
now that the pricing comes up, the contractor and engineer saying,
Do it now.
and why don't you just do both of them?
Yeah.
And that's why I want to bring it to the board. We can still go with one, with the original budget.
Yeah, but the cost is going up.
Just, yeah, one and another money.
And
And
who's
the one
to
that.
say?
But we have to read.
And use it as an emergency?
Bring him up, bring him.
He turned around.
Come on.
For the engineer, particularly, so what was your question about what is the condition of the other chiller?
If we replace it and it's still good, it's still workable, right now? Can we save it and use it as a?
Absolutely. I'm a big proponent of that. The hardest part is you save it somewhere and then suddenly, oh, you know, the chiller over here, le falta esta, and the technician goes over and takes it off to put over. And that's always the hard part because you start, what's the word? Cannibalize them, and then you're back to square one. But absolutely, I always recommend school districts, if you have one that's working, save it. It's easier to put it on a flatbed, take it wherever you need to, and get, your staff can even hook it up. And I've told TJ many times, when he worked at another district, those are options. And I've done it before as an engineer when I worked in a school district. And I always offer the advice that if you ever want to do something like that, just get with me. I'll help you out on how to set it up. But yes, absolutely. We're sitting on 2 chillers, one's down. Honestly, if you get a new chiller, only one, it does cost competitive seal proposal. We could take one out. The money you're gonna save, you're gonna spend twice a few years later. Because the prices are gonna go up and the cost to do the work is gonna go up.
Sure.
And if, heaven forbid, that brand new chiller has to have something that goes wrong with it and it's down, you're back to. Right now is the prime time to have both of them.
Yeah.
Plan B, that's good.
Okay.
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 Place that in consent.
Yes.
And the first two
Wait,
with
you
the
want to put on
fencing,
consent?
I'll get with Mr. Eden on the wording.
On the wording,
Yes.
Okay.
we want it on consent? No, not the fences,
The chiller, okay,
only the chiller,
okay.
only the chiller.
The next items are the warehouse fixed asset textbooks and records. I have Ms. Valerie to present those items. And then we have a presentation by Ms. Annabelli, also on transportation. And then I'll come back.
TJ, I think everybody knows you now.
Yeah, there he is. He'll be giving massages after this.
Good evening, President Reina, members of the board, and Dr. King, Superintendent, members of the audience. My agenda items are, the first one is disposal of personal protective equipment. Background information, the personal protective equipment was acquired during the COVID-19 pandemic. However, over time, PPE can degrade due to age, storage conditions, etc. The items were previously offered to the departments and campuses via our slideshow. And then our recommendation is seeking to obtain board approval to properly dispose of personal protective equipment that has either expired or no longer being used. Does anybody have any questions? And places on the consent agenda?
I'm just curious. Where do you, I know, but where do you dispose of them?
We take them to the either Mission, the city of Mission or McAllen Recycle Center.
Okay,
Edinburgh has.
it's a person.
Why you want him? Who wants expired chiller?
Oh, you want the junk?
We have some when my parents were ill
Okay.
and we need to dispose of them also. So that's why I'm asking, where do you take them to get?
Just with the bill, the water bill, you're able to dispose of it and your driver's license.
Thank you.
You're welcome. May I place it on the consent agenda? May I continue to the next agenda, board agenda? The next one is dispose of instructional materials and complete manipulatives. So with this one, the background information is, in accordance to the Education Code 31.015, the board shall determine how the district will dispose of discontinued printed instructional materials, electronic instructional materials, technology equipment. The board may dispose of printed instructional material before the date of instructional material is discontinued use in public schools by the State Board of Education and if the board determines that the instructional material is not needed by the district and the board does not reasonably expect that the district, that the instructional materials be needed. A district must notify the commission of an instructional material that disposes under this provision. We are recommending, seeking to obtain one approval to properly dispose of the incomplete manipulatives no longer used in the classrooms. Does anybody have any questions? May I place this in the consent agenda? May I proceed to the next item?
Yes.
Yes. The next one is. Sorry, I have I'm flipping through the pages.
Okay.
Disposal of printed materials. The background is the same. Would you like for me to read that again or?
No.
No.
The recommendation is.
No.
I'll just continue. Recommendation is seeking to obtain board approval to publicly dispose of the discontinued English books for K through second, my view. May I place this on the consent agenda? May I continue with the next one? The next one is, the records destruction, background information. According to the retention period, it means the minimum time that must pass after the creation, record, or receipt of the record. Performance of certain actions associated with the record before it's eligible for destruction. Local government code 201.003. In accordance with board policy, local government points, code 202.001, the local government record may be destroyed. Number one, the record is listed on the Valley Records Control Schedule and either is retention period that has expired or has been microfilmed or electronically stored in accordance with local requirements. Number two, the record appears on a list of obsolete results as provided by the local code 203.0000224. Number three, the record is not listed on the records retention schedule issued by the Texas State Library and Archives Commission. The district provides a notice to the Texas Library Archives Commission at least 10 days before destroying the record required by the government code 441.163. Number four, the court issues an expulsion order after the destruction of obliteration of the records pursuant to the state law. And number five, the records are defined exempt from the scheduling of withholding requirements or listed exempt in records retention schedule issued by the Texas State Library Archives Commission. Recommendation recommends the approval of destruction of records that has met the requirement retention schedule. Next slide.
Consented.
And I'll continue with the next one. The last one is the notice of surplus items scheduled for auction. This is to inform the district, the record information, this is to inform the district that has identified surplus and obsolete equipment items that are no longer needed for instructional or operational purposes. In accordance with the district policy and state guidelines, these items are recommended for disposal through public auction. Recommendation, the department will be disposing of surplus items through public auction. Moreover, proceeds generated from the auction will be deposited into the appropriate district account in compliance with established financial procedures. May I place this in the consent agenda? Thank you for your time.
The auction's still done online?
Yes, it's still done.
Still online.
Yes.
There's someone.
Items were, I provided pictures of that.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
And all their barber chairs.
Some of them are decent shape, yes.
As, I'll just go back to me, old school, as a coach, we really never got new.
But they look like.
I would go shopping at the warehouse for our offices, so.
The district does that with shopping through the district.
That's how they look.
They
So
let us do that?
They shop for free first.
Okay.
And then we place them in auction.
Okay.
Are those black rolling chairs or they're barber chairs?
No, they're rolling chairs.
They don't have roll. They're,
Office chairs.
looks like a barber.
Oh, it is, looks like, has a,
Oh, they're barber.
they're barber?
Barber.
Yes,
They're barber.
because they're barber.
Take them.
But everything's, like I said, everything's offered through the district light show first, and then we,
The shiner for
Yeah.
the tile.
Yeah.
any other,
We're gonna be here at the auction.
thank you.
Thank
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Online.
Yeah. Got that shining los tiles.
The picture.
When is it gonna be?
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. King, Superintendent, and members of the audience. Our agenda item is the TEA notice regarding Senate Bill 546, 89th legislature, required reporting on school bus seatbelt costs. In response to the Senate Bill 546, which amended Code 547.701, now requires that all school buses transporting children be equipped with 3-point seatbelts for every passenger. As part of this legislation, the Texas Education Agency will gather data from each school district regarding their current bus fleet and the estimated cost to retrofit these school buses with those 3-point seatbelts. The board is responsible for determining whether the district's budget can support purchasing buses equipped with these 3-point seatbelts. If the board confirms that funds are available for new buses with the 3-point seatbelts, the district should retain a copy of that decision for reporting purposes. If the board determines the budget does not allow for the purchase of the buses with 3-point seatbelts, the district should prepare a report to be presented to the board during a public meeting. The report will need to include, 1, the number of buses operated by or contracted for use by the district that A, are not equipped with seatbelts, B, are equipped with 2-point seatbelts, and seat are equipped with 3-point seatbelts. And number two, the estimated cost to the district to equip all the buses with 3-point seatbelts. You must retain a copy of the board agenda and minutes to upload when completing the study. Currently, Mission CISD has 106 special needs and regular school buses. I included a timeline in which we're currently looking at the deadline for April the 1st to determine your reporting obligations and obtain cost estimates, which is what we're doing now. The full completion and compliance with this would be in September 1st of 2029. PA reporting includes the following: number of buses in your school district that match each of the following descriptions. Fully equipped 3-point harness seatbelts, we currently have 48 buses. This includes special needs and regular school buses. And no passenger seatbelts, we have 58. We do not have any school buses equipped with lap belts or a mix of 3-point and lap belts. And also we do not have some seats with 3 points and others with no seatbelts. Some school districts do have. Some seatbelts with lap belts and others with no seatbelts, we don't have any of those. So we only have the 48 with the 3-point seatbelts that are required, and we have 58 that are not. The total cost to retrofit the school district's buses to ensure that all seats are equipped with 3-point harness seatbelts would be $1,225,295.52. And if we had determined with the vendors that retrofitting the buses with 3-point seatbelts would void manufacturer warranty, how many buses would be affected? It would be 25 of our fleet. So I went ahead and stated where the warranty is for the buses that are 2010 and older. And we are recommending to replace 2013 and older, as shown in the graph below. By the time that the law takes in effect in 2029, these 2013 buses will already be 16 years old. So their lifespan afterwards will not be that much. I did include a chart with the quantity of buses that we have based on their age and the new buses that are required, that need to be replaced. 35 new buses at $180,000 each. That is an estimate as of right now because of the new buses going up in value, would be $6,300,000. And the retrofit capable buses would be 23 at about $35,000 each, and between 35,000 and 43,786.94 are the prices to retrofit them. It would be a total of 875,295. So the total estimate to get 35 new buses and retrofit 23 would be a total of $7,175,295.52. Administration is now just presenting the Senate Bill 546 and the reporting of school bus seatbelt costs. Does anyone have any questions?
Everybody's age back.
Oh, just a comment. I really appreciated this, the way that you set this up with your breakdowns.
Yeah, very detailed.
Dr. King. How can I say it?
Are they gonna,
What areas have we looked at with transportation? Because I know that when I was the grant writer, there was there is a program that the state has where you can trade in and trade off buses. And then there's another one that's with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. It's a program, it's a $16 million grant. And they have the new buses also that are eco-friendly.
Electric.
And electric,
Electric.
okay? So the deadline for that grant is May 2026. So you can research the grant, that program, because there aren't very many programs that offer buses for the state of Texas. Okay, so when I read this, I said, oh man, I need to go back, and I came up, this grant the application is there, it covers up to 80% of the cost of a new bus. Okay, so I wrote some notes, but there is a website that you can go to.
We sure will.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe they
We've
can
been
help
talking about
out.
a replacement
Maybe we
schedule.
qualify. Yeah, maybe
For
we
buses.
qualify.
I mean, I know that during budget season, right, which we're now going to begin, Rick does come forward and does say, we need X number of buses,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
we have been looking at that replacement schedule and of course now having to report because of Senate Bill 546, that really brings to light, right, with districts of having to have that plan by 2029 of.
That's tough.
And Dr.
No.
We could also look at partnerships, businesses or organizations that.
Lease agreements. We can also go into lease agreements. But the only question is like, these go back, they start at year 2006. So our buses are old. We do have some,
Oh, wait, yes, we do.
we do have some that may qualify.
Yes, we do.
So we can go back all the way to the 2006 buses.
We currently have, 18 buses,
Yeah.
2006 and older.
So it's a first come, first served grant, so y'all need to look into it.
All right, thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, and then next, I believe we have.
Write a check, yeah.
Updates on the HVAC.
HVAC updates.
Yes.
We have, again, Mr. Avila, and these
Okay.
HVAC updates are for the Alton Memorial Junior High and Bryan Elementary projects by JCI.
So there's two contractors
Yes.
that we have for pipe projects. And I brought my lovely assistant to help also with the update.
Yeah, that's
He's the line for the massage.
That's Johnson Controls. And then we have Midgift Salinas and Cavazos, that was Central Air Heat System, CAHS. These projects have been ongoing for a couple of years now, and we have not been able to finalize them again because of certain items they don't complete. For CAHS, we still have a balance of $854,758.75. Why they wouldn't want their money, I don't know. Then we have Johnson Controls. They still have a balance of $767,124.11. We're tried to close out these projects. What's pending? DBR has meetings with them and almost every week.
If I may?
Yes.
So we had today we actually had we had a construction meeting. And our construction meetings are always, engineer, architect, engineer, sorry, district and the contractor. So the school is always present. We do take minutes, we do share them with the staff. But the first meeting that we had was for the central air heating projects, which is the Midgift, Salinas and Casas. Yeah, so we had, all the equipment's been installed. We had one piece of item that still needed to be verified for operation, and that happened this afternoon. And so we are getting the final test and balance, and we're very, very close to getting this thing closed out. There is money still there. The project is late. I will say that. I can say that publicly. The project is late. We are going to be meeting with District of Nevada on their final application, payment application, so that we can reconcile the contingency. And if there's any liquidated damages, we will reconcile them at that time. So that's where we're at right now. We're right around the turn. We can see the flag and we're almost there on that project. I know it's been a long draw. We've had some issues and we'll go to that. Any other?
We actually got a PAP email to us right now.
As we were sitting here, yes, so that's. When it comes to the Johnson Controls project, which is the Alton and Bryan, as far as Bryan is concerned, if you all recall, our last board meeting, we did have one item. They are working on the controls, they did order all this stuff, and I think the controls came in.
The controls is for Alton.
Alton, okay.
That's part of.
So the controls were ordered, but again, all the work has been done minus that, so we're in really good shape with Bryan. Again, when we meet, we had that meeting today also, with the contractor and the school district to see if there's any ongoing, and there's some big issues that come up. The school district is very good about voicing when something's not working, and we get the contractor to address it. So it's documented that, something came up, so that's really good. Alton has lagged a little bit behind. And
Because of those controls.
roughly where would you say, George?
Controls came in today, so they're about 68%. They're 68% right now. They just needed some controls materials that came in today. And so we're gonna have maybe an emergency meeting to see what's the status and how long it's gonna take.
Yeah,
And then that's it. We're all to.
And anything, again, when it comes to any overages as far as when their contract was, everything's documented. Every time we have a meeting, we always make sure the contractor's aware that they've already exceeded their time and they are in a situation contractually where they may be assessed if they overages. So that's not a surprise to them. There's certain questions that we always ask them. We ask that they acknowledge it because they get to report for the record. We ask them if there's any reasons why they haven't been able to complete their work. If it's rained, if there's, we had a freeze, did it stop you when we're doing work? And we have that discussion with them. So again, at the very end, they're not coming back to say, oh, remember May, there was a big storm and I couldn't work? That's what we ask. In June, did anything stop you from working? So we all have that documentation. Again, we're gonna follow the same procedure with them as we did, or as we are with the other contractor. We're gonna look at everything. We'll get with Mr. Rivera on their final payment application, so we can reconcile how much we actually owe them on these amounts.
Okay.
For sure, I think, the Cavazos, Midkiff, and Salinas, it was, over like $300,000 in owner's contingency. So that's guaranteed back to you. Anything else is gonna be, plus you, is gonna, depend on how we reconcile anything. Any questions?
I'm retired.
Oh,
Don't go.
I think the last time I was here, I had a mask. You don't even know what I looked like.
Yes.
So these are 21 projects?
21 projects.
From
I
2021.
remember you saying, we'll finish it till 2025. I
Yes.
lived up to that, right?
Oh.
That's what I thought.
I had hair back then.
I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna let it go.
Notice to proceed.
These gray hairs keep everything.
Oh, okay, well, that's all.
It's been a couple of years.
That's how it's been.
The hardest part on some of these was we couldn't shut school down.
Right.
And so we knew we had extended time, and that's been a common theme with a lot of school districts now, is like, it used to be where like, hey, we're gonna move half people out of this wing so you can work on it now, and we understand that, and the contractors are understanding that, and so the days now for whatever we ask on some of our bids, how many days? We're seeing 500 days, 600 days. I was like, wow, 2 years to finish this,
Years.
because that's the reality of that, that's what's happening.
5 years.
That's interesting.
Any other questions for me?
Good, I'm good.
Okay.
I know you're looking at me like I'm good. I'm good.
All right, well, there's anything else? Mr. Rivera?
225.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good evening.
Likewise.
Thank you. Guys.
The next agenda item, is the Marcel Elementary remediation status update. Dr. King?
That's, if I believe we have the presentation up, got an update, I think. Yes. I gave y'all a daily board briefing on this.
Yes, ma'am.
So, the purpose, right, is to update and to ensure the board and the community that they have a clear understanding and that you have an understanding of the remediation actions taken, the current status and conditions for reopening Marcel Elementary. And the next slide, this is the campus status as of today. All remediation work is complete. The district received written remediation completion report. We obtained independent third-party environmental clearance for surfaces, air quality, and water. Post-remediation surface testing has been completed and cleared. Indoor air quality testing completed and acceptable. No remaining porous materials in affected areas. HVAC and building systems have been cleaned, tested, and whatever needed to be balanced, right? With HVAC there, and everything's all operational. And the next slide, we're happy to report that Marcel Elementary is scheduled to reopen Monday, February 16th. Of course, our district priority was always safety first, right?
Yes.
Student and safety, staff safety guided every single decision throughout this process. the campus of Columbia wouldn't reopen until all remediation steps were complete and independent clearance was received, which we have received. There was never any deviation from health, safety, or environmental standards to accelerate reopening. The next slide, I already went over December, right? What we did in December at the last board workshop. And next is January to give you a glimpse of what was done in January. I'll just start there at the bottom with January 19th, when I think that's where we left off with environmental testing for the campus was completed. And then in the last week of January, well, we received the water testing results on January 23rd. All was clear for water. Last week, after the retesting was done, we received the report that 4 areas still had some evidence of bacteria. So they did 4 targeted areas of sanitization and cleaning in those 4 areas. Retesting was done on January 30th, late in the day this past Friday. We received that all the retesting was done and all is clear in those areas. So now we're here, February 4th, tomorrow and on Friday, we're gonna have the final cleaning by Mission CISD Maintenance Department. So they're gonna do the final cleaning, waxing of the floors and so forth. Monday is the weather day. The district is closed. Starting on the 10th, 11th, and 12th, 13th, the teachers and staff after school, if they want to, they can return to the school
Super Bowl.
to get things ready, right? On Thursday, the 12th, we're gonna host a Stronger Together at Marcel Family Night.
Oh,
It's there in the cafeteria. The families can come starting at 5:30 to about 6:30. I'll give an update of the team there. We'll give an update what I'm giving today and what we've been giving in the families, right, communication throughout the entire process, just to update them and reassure them that all necessary steps were taken. So it's a Stronger Together at Marcel Family Night on the 12th. And then on the 13th, we're gonna reopen and everyone reports back to Marcel. So that's the plan.
That's good.
On the next slide, just wanna just reiterate on the internal and external communication. Families received clear, timely updates outlining what the work had been done all along, what work still remained, and then what the timeline was, why the timeline was structured as it was. Because a lot of individuals aren't aware of all the back-end stuff that has to be done. For example, remember in the last workshop I shared how in the affected, there was one main hallway that was affected. And so the sheetrock, right, about 2 feet had to be removed from all those areas. And the flooring had to be removed. So a lot of people don't understand, right, when you're doing environmental biohazard incident like that, there's extensive work that's been done to be able to test and to get clearance, right? So that's why we did a timeline so they could understand the structure and how it was. The district continues to this day to communicate proactively as milestones are reached. I believe that Marcel, I just want a thumbs up from our PR, right? Marcel Elementary families, faculty and staff have been informed of the reopening. So that happened today, that we did send out, right, Ms. Dimitra Trejo, on the communications piece to our families as faculty and staff, Marcel, that we're reopening on the 16th. That's sent out?
Yeah, the campuses have notified families via progress report night.
Okay,
At the with progress report night, so they let them notify them there.
okay.
The principal notified the staff, and I believe we're just still waiting on the approval for,
Oh, we're good to go. I was in a meeting. So we're good to go on that external messaging to parents.
But it's ready to go, so we'll click on it.
Yeah, we can. It's ready to go for the family, so that way they know, starting on the 16th. And on the next slide, just want to tell you that this entire process has reflected the district's commitment to safety, transparency, and doing the work the right way, not the fast way. I know that many wanted to expedite the process, but safety first.
Yeah.
And then finally, just want to say thank you to all our stakeholders for their support and patience as we complete this final week And we look toward reopening with confidence. To all our district personnel who extended grace and contributed to the work. Marcel and Pearson Elementary faculty and staff, thank you very much. Mission CISD Maintenance and Operations Division, outstanding work. Mission CISD CNI Division, because it took everybody going in to help when we had to pivot from one day to the next. And then, of course, our Mission CISD Business and Finance Division, everyone at some point, right, had some work to do with the situation. And finally, on the next slide, a special thank you to our Marcel and Pearson Elementary students. We want to thank them for being brave, flexible, and respectful. You showed patience, flexibility, and perseverance, and your ability to adapt and keep learning speaks volumes of your character. You made a challenging situation easier for everyone. So thank you for representing Marcel and Pearson so well. I'm so proud of the children. But of course, we're mission. That's the Mission CISD way, right? We charge on and everybody else gets behind us. And so that's the attitude we have. That's the mindset of Mission CISD. Get behind us, join the line, and we dominate. So a special thank you to the children because they were the great examples and exemplars of when change happens, you're brave, you're flexible, you adapt, and you accept that change. And man, they're so resilient. And so I especially thank the children and the families. And this concludes hopefully the last update on Marcel Elementary.
Well, I'd just like to make a note that with your leadership, Dr. King, and the way you addressed the situation immediately, I think that set the tone and the assurance that everything was going to be okay. And the principals, took it that way because of your leadership and the administrative staff here at central office. So I commend all of you for all the work that you did during this period of time, because really it's a short turnover. It happened in December and we're just in February. So I was expecting after spring break. So that's great. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, and next we're moving on to section 6, human resources and support services and policy. When we have discussion and possible action for the next board meeting. We have Mr. Beto Flores and his team who will lead us in these items.
Yes, good evening, Madam President, Reina, members of the board, Dr. King, and members of the audience. Our first item on the agenda is a waiver request related to student attendance accounting due to bad attendance on July 26th. And of course, we all know that due to freezing temperatures on that day, attendance at campuses were significantly lower than the district's annual daily attendance. On that day, the attendance was 60.97%. As in a previous presentation to the board in a request to submit a waiver, TA does allow districts to submit a waiver request for events that impact student attendance by 10% or more due to weather, health, safety, or other emergencies. Administrative considerations, the superintendent will submit an attendance waiver to TA 15 or January the 26th. And of course, all required documentation will be included as well. The superintendent will keep the board informed on the approval status of the waiver submission. So at this point, administration is recommending the approval of the waiver request related to student attendance accounting due to bad weather on January the 26th. With your permission, Madam President, may I place this item on consent agenda?
Yes.
Okay, just to, I'm sure Dr. King, we did get approved for the waiver.
Yes, we did for December the 3rd for Marcel.
That's correct. So we're anticipating, hopefully making sure that we get that waiver approved through TA as well. So thank you. The next item is that we will be presenting.
Good evening, Board President Reina, Superintendent Dr. King, and our Board of Trustees. This is the second reading of board policy changes, including a TASB policy update 126. This was presented as a first reading in the January workshop. We made additional changes. And they are the local policies affecting BE local board meetings, the local board meetings, public participation, CJ local, which deals with contracted services, CJA local, contracted services, background checks, and required reporting, CLE local buildings, grounds and equipment management, required displays. CQB local technology resources, cybersecurity. CQD local technology resources, artificial intelligence. CSA local facility standards, safety and security. CB local, which deals with facilities construction. DED local employment requirements, restrictions, conflict of interest. DEC local compensation and benefits, leaves and absences. DFBB local terms, contracts, non-renewal. DGBA local, which deals with personal management relations, employee complaints and grievances. DH local, employee standards of conduct. EEP local, instructional arrangements, lesson plans. EFA local, instructional resources, instructional materials. EHBAF local, special education, video, audio monitoring. FA local, academic achievement, grading progress, reports to parents. FA local, parent rights and responsibilities. FEF local, attendance, release time. FAC local, wellness and health services, medical treatment. FFB local, student welfare, crisis intervention. FFF local, student welfare, student safety. FFG local, student welfare, child abuse and neglect. FNG local, student rights and responsibilities dealing with student and parent complaints and grievances. FO local, student discipline. GF local, public complaints. GKA local, community relations, conduct on school premises. So as a background, our CASB policy service, the district gets localized policy updates throughout the year that are generally based on changes in law, case rulings, or TEA rulings, and update 126 and these to legal policies based on legislative and regulatory changes to these policies. So administrative consideration is the items included for presentation reflect appropriate changes to drafts sent by TASB based upon input from the legal counsel and administration. And administrative practice has been to provide the policy review as part of the board workshop with the request that the agenda item is approved for inclusion in the consent agenda for the regular board meeting. This is being presented for a second reading at the Board of Trustees workshop on 2/4/26. So additional changes have been made from the previous workshop. And so the recommendation is the approval of second reading, the board policy changes for policy update 126, unless we have additional
Changes.
changes or recommendations.
I read them all.
You read them all? I'm fine with the change.
They're all updated. They're all.
updated. Okay, we're good.
May I put this on consent
Consent.
agenda?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Trejo. And next we have Ms. Becky. We're going to move on with the presentation on the business and finance. Section 7A is the internal audit quarterly report. Ms. McGee.
Good evening, Madam Board President, members of the board, and Superintendent Dr. King. The district's internal audit charter requires a written report provided to the board on a quarterly basis. My written report, which has been included in the agenda for your review, covers the period October 1st through December 31st, 2022. And much of my time this past quarter was spent related to the district's annual financial audit, which was completed in November. However, during the quarter, I continued to review activities on the fundraiser applications, fundraiser reports, and related journal entries. I also visited the secondary campuses to review club charters and verify student policy. So during the end of the quarter, I began my internal audits of the after-school child care programs. Along with my written report, I prepared a very brief PowerPoint presentation to report campus and safety activity fund balances as of December 31st, 2025. So on about that. Okay, so the first two slides list the campuses, elementary campuses alphabetically. So the first column is the beginning balance, which are the balances rolled over from the last fiscal year. Receipts and disbursements are for July 1st through December 31st with outstanding expenses included with the disbursements. And the last column is the ending balance as of December 31st. And so the total ending balance of all elementary campuses as of December 31st was $536,921. This next slide is a graph of the receipts and disbursements of the elementary classes for July first to December 31st, with the number of fundraiser applications approved next to each campus name. The receipts shown in blue range from 9,000 to almost 84,000, and disbursements in red range from 7,000 to 86,000. Process was at the most activity. So continuing with the secondary campuses, this next slide shows the three high schools. The dollar amounts listed reflect both campus activity and student activity funds. Again, receipts and disbursements for July 1st through December 31st. And the last column is the end count as of December 31st, 2025. Veterans Mobile, most activity, while Mission High School has the highest. This next slide shows our 4 junior high campuses. Again, both campus activity and student activity funds are reflected. K White Junior High had the most activity, but Alta Memorial Junior High had the highest in attendance. On this graph, the receipts and disbursements of the secondary campuses are shown for July 1st through December 31st, with a number of fundraiser applications approved next to each campus name. Receipts shown in blue range from 45,000 to over 307,000, and disbursements range from almost 31,000 to over 228,000. This next slide is a breakdown of the ending balances of the secondary campuses. Campus activity funds, Fund 461, include replacement, United sales, parking permits, campus-wide fund, libraries, and UIL. Student. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay. Student activity fund, Fund 865 are the actual student clubs, which is money belonging to the student group. And the last column is the number of student clubs. There are 175 clubs in total. And so this next slide is a summary of the secondary campuses. Totals for the 3 high schools and 4 junior high schools are listed along with Roosevelt Alternative. On the next slide is a year-to-year comparison of all activity funds for the first 6 months. The beginning balance at July 1st plus year-to-date receipts plus year-to-date disbursements less encumbrances equals the ending balance as of December 31st. The receipts for the current year have increased over the prior year as well as disbursements and encumbrances. And the ending balance of 1.5 million at December 31st is broken down on the last slide. So 59% of the ending balance belongs to the secondary campuses and 36% belongs to the elementary campuses. And unless there's any questions, that does conclude my presentation.
Ms. Kiki, I just, out of curiosity, when I was reviewing it, I noticed that there is some amounts that are in parentheses. Is there a reason for that? Or is just, like, for example, like I think in the elementary in Cavazos, there's, it's in parentheses. I just.
They were in the negative.
They were in the negative.
We're talking about the
Last one?
Yeah.
Yes.
yes, that means it had a negative balance.
So whenever you use your parentheses, that's what they're
Yeah.
negative balance.
Balance, and they did do quite a bit of fundraising, as you can see, and they did correct.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you so much, Becky.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McGee. Next with Business and Finance, number 2, discussion and possible action for next board meeting. We have Ms. Sylvia Cruz.
Right. Okay, we only use.
The next section will be the discussion of bids, proposals, and purchase in the amount of $50,000 and over. We're gonna present 3 items, and the first item is gonna be the E-Rate 29 internet access and internal connections. Basically, this proposal seeks to continue services supporting the district's technology infrastructure through the Schools and Libraries Division E-Rate program. The district did solicit proposals. Did in the monitor from November 26th to December 3rd. And we have 28 days posted. So we did receive 7 responses, and we're planning to award 3. Okay. We're recommending to award internet access to Foremost Communications for $23,940. Internal connections, which is cabling, switching, and UPS, it's $1,221,049 to NetSync. And then we're gonna recommend to award our wireless hardware for $629,598 to Sequel Data Systems. Again, we're not asking for funding at this time.
Good.
We are gonna submit the application.
Thank you.
Told you, it's not
Thank you.
that, it's that. Towards you.
Oh, thank you.
We are going to submit the application and then, request funding allocations. The district will actually budget 310,000 because the rest is, we qualify for 85% discount.
Right.
So may I place this in consent?
Yes. It didn't used to be 85%. It used to be a little bit more, wouldn't it?
We checked with no.
Oh,
No, it's always been.
85%? Okay.
The next item is gonna be the fuel and oil RFP.
Yeah, I couldn't read that.
Contract intends to provide a method to procure fuel and oil for the district needs. We did receive 9 responses, and we're recommending to award to 5 vendors. The estimated expenditure is $650,000. We did have a committee to evaluate the proposals. Anabeli Uresti, Director of Transportation, Isidro Reina, Transportation Assistant Coordinator, and Jorge Ochoa, Transportation Shop Foreman. So we're recommending to award to, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's Argentinic Oil Company. Number 2, Holland Oil Company. Number 3, Pico Propane. Number 4, Pinnacle Petroleum, and 5, Safety Clean Systems. Any questions? Yes, may I please?
Have they worked with these companies before?
I know.
Are they new? Like vendors to the school district?
I know they work with Pico.
Uh-huh.
No, but Pico, we have worked with.
Yeah, most of the,
I'm just saying because I know that Holland is a very big company. I mean, very reputable too. The first one is too. I'm just saying if we had already been working with them, well, they're very good companies.
in the finance office, we do see a lot of the transactions go to Pico or for the fields. Now, the mechanics, they might use some of the other firms or companies for the oil.
Oil. Okay.
May I place the consent?
Yes.
The third item is VMware subscription. This contract intends to provide a message for VMware subscription. We're gonna either purchase through an internal purchase. We received 2 responses. Administration is recommending to contract free IT data solutions for the amount of $136,000 for 3 years. Next item, we're requesting to amend the order of the elections on May 2nd to 26th, Board of Trustee election. Again, we brought this item back on January 21st. So what we're doing, we're amending the order to reflect the locations for early voting and election day, and then the hours and dates. Now, Mr. Burgett, I think he heard today that we're gonna have to change the order at this time due to a national holiday.
Yeah.
And the state is kind of, you know, that's.
State holiday, correct.
Never seen this in the past, this is the first time, but he's gonna share that. So we'll amend, I think it's Tuesday, the 21st, that we're gonna close.
Correct. This came about, this just passed administration. Good evening anyways, guys. So it came back, so where now early voting is closed on Tuesday, so it starts on Monday and it closes on Tuesday. Then it starts back on Wednesday at that. Something, it's a holiday. If you look at the second page I just gave you, it's.
Well, it's always been a holiday.
But they never acknowledged.
Never now, right, the past ledge.
You know, put a
Yeah.
emphasis on it. Now it's an emphasis and it's being closed. We thought it was just a county thing. No, it's the election in Texas.
So instead of, it's 8 days of election,
Days.
8 days of early voting now instead of 9.
Yes.
I
Correct.
mean, there's nothing we can do. It's a state holiday
We can't,
happening.
you would have to talk to state legislation.
Go lobby to get rid of San Jacinto Day, come on. Come on now.
Got writing from the secretary.
It's a holiday.
But I do wanna just remind that the early voting locations will be at the Alton Recreation Center, Rafael Cantu Junior High School, and the Mission Parks and Recreation. So 3 locations for early voting. And then during election day, that Saturday, it's gonna be Mission Parks and Recreation, Alton Recreation, Rafael Cantu, Mission High School, and Pearson Elementary.
Okay,
Is the agreement with that?
for curiosity purposes, when we contract with the county, okay, do we contract the number of machines that we are going to be allocated for Mission CISD? Or do we allocate, well,
At this point in time, they can't give us a contract because I had a meeting with them yet. And it's per machine, it's per area, right, that we have. The only portion is that they can't really, since we're sharing now with Palmhurst and then also with STC, because they're gonna be part of the ballot and may, if they have an election. So if they don't have one, then the cost becomes more on us and less. So when you share it, it becomes a little lesser. So they're kind of saying, we got the March primary, we can't do this yet till we get done with the March primary. So the earliest that they said they could get us something would be March 4th or 5th, somewhere down the line. And for that reason, because I wanted to bring a dollar amount to y'all, so y'all could kind of say, is it worth having any of the other campuses open or not? But that's a discussion that y'all can have.
When you give us the numbers.
I just don't know how the number.
You gave us how many votes came out voting day at Mission High?
Correct.
And do you have the one for Pearson?
Yes, I do.
You have it with you, sir?
It's 18 votes.
All right, so,
Only had 18,
yeah, we gotta,
had 112.
But again, guys, that's up to y'all if y'all want to have it. We've had 6 places last time.
How much are they charging?
Oh, right.
he doesn't have it yet.
Tell you.
Oh, okay, those are expensive 18 votes.
Yeah, because I'm saying cost.
Cariñosos.
Because we have other entities like Palmhurst and that we have to share that with them. That's that.
Okay.
So in the last elections, you're saying we had 6
Yeah, we had more places.
and
So in the last election, just for your reference,
I don't got, I'm not ready.
for the early voting, we had Alton Elementary. Okay, so we used the music room there. And then we had Mission Parks and Rec for the past election, which was 2020. For early voting.
for the early voting, but for election day?
For election day, we had Alton Elementary School, Castro, Mission High School, Mission Parks, Pearson, Rafael Cantu.
And Mission High. Did you mention Mission
Had
High?
all the schools, so that's
6.
The most votes is
six
at
locations.
Mission.
Parks and Rec.
So we're gonna continue with that. We're gonna do that.
No,
No.
not for this election,
The
the
Parks and Rec?
changes proposed.
Oh, yes, Parks and Recs, yes.
We used to, in the past, we used to have Brian. But we took Brian away, because of the Parks and Rec, it's too close.
Yeah.
So we wanted to kind of alleviate the district with the costs. But right now, the recommendation is gonna be early voting. And one of the reasons we're doing that, especially for early voting, is for the safety, security of the children. It's 8 days.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna have people from the community go to the cafeteria or the library, so we kind of like really have to section it out. So for early voting right now, it's gonna be Alton Recreation Center, the Mission Parks, and Rafael Cantu,
Busborn area. There's,
the bus barn.
so we got it cleared by the county. That.
And election day is gonna be Mission Parks, the Alton Recreation, Rafael Cantu, Mission High School, we're gonna keep Mission High School, and Pearson.
So what's being left out? What's
Castro,
Cost.
and, let me see.
And you have to remember that's, there's no city election.
Correct.
Just, it's only school, all school
So
board
we're
only.
leaving Castro out and Elton Elementary, because we're gonna use the Elton
Alton
Recreation. So Castro and Elton Elementary will not be utilized.
And it's not giving more or less, because in early voting, we only had 2 sites when we ran, and now early voting is gonna have 3 sites.
Correct.
So it's not like we're doing more for one election over another, like, it's the same number.
The only thing in early voting, we're switching it from the elementary to the
Mhm.
Parks and Rec at Alton.
Yeah.
Because again, of the safety.
Get away from the campus.
Yeah.
They go to the campus.
And it's right there, like it's
But
very.
election day, Saturday.
How many votes came in Alton?
Alton, when it happened last time, it was 240
Oh, okay,
some, so it was a good amount.
that's a good.
An election day?
On early vote.
Early.
Only early voting.
And,
An election day.
Election day was 86.
and what about Castro?
Castro was a little less. It was, they're talking about 43 or something like that,
On,
Election.
election day.
so why are we leaving Castro out?
That's something that you can ask us or you talk about it and we can modify it again. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can modify anything that y'all like.
Well, I believe that if we had it last time, we should have Castro again.
And we'll put it on there and we'll bring it again
And does that include personnel on the cost?
every time. So every site has your judge and it has the people that are working.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna discuss it till we have number amounts.
Yeah.
We should have the proposal.
And is it worth it?
Correct.
Well, yes.
Also, it's after a primary, guys, and if we all understand numbers and stats, it's a lower voter turnout. It's always been like that.
Oh, and it may even be lower because
It's only
the
board.
city elections
Yeah,
are not
it's not
done.
happening.
However, for fairness,
Palmhurst does have city elections, which is why they included the bus barn in Rafael Cantu. So that might be a good turnout there, which we didn't have early voting. Going back to when we ran it, it was just Parks and Rec and Alton.
So in the past, we did.
Well,
As you well know, we have to have like a joint election with one of the cities.
Okay.
With Mission, but Mission changed.
Went to November. Right.
we could have changed our election to November as well, and we didn't.
Well, nobody placed, you still can, you can place it on the agenda, discuss it and do all that process. You still can.
Well, I was told that we couldn't, that it was too late.
Who said that?
Yeah.
When?
When were you?
Recently or before?
Before.
Before, yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a new law on September 1 that reopened that window to do so again. So before September 1, 2025, the answer would have been you couldn't anymore.
Right.
After September 1.
Yeah, well, I asked before, and they told me.
Yeah, so now
We
we
could.
can,
Now we can.
yes.
No, I'm saying, but that's the reason that, yeah, it's gonna be a lower turnout. And I understand that, but we could have changed the elections to November,
Well, we
And we
couldn't
still
back
can.
then, but now we
Yeah.
can.
right?
Mhm.
And we're not
But
gonna
you
do
still
it at
can.
this point.
Well, what's the last, well, again, it would have to pass and all that, but if we were
Well,
to,
the last day, if you're talking about to really have
So
anything.
we wouldn't be able to change it right now because
Right
we
now.
haven't called the election.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
They call the election.
Then we can't.
how about to add an item
After this
for election?
Yeah, after, no, but
And that was,
We needed to-
to add an item to the election, I would imagine we
I
have to just.
requested and I asked.
And the item that you're asking about would be,
Term limits.
We can't impose them. We can't impose. them.
No, for the voters.
The voters can't impose them either, so.
So how did the
Separate
city do it?
Constitution, because they're governed by completely separate documents. So we're governed by the education code and we're a product of statute. And so the restrictions on candidacy, elections, and term limits is all governed by the state, not by us locally. Cities, on the other hand, have the autonomy to create those changes through charter and through their own laws.
But we
don't-
could move our elections to
Well,
November.
we could move our elections to November, yes.
Is that something that
And we could have in the past as well.
Before September
Before
first? No,
September 1, we could.
Yeah, we could.
No,
Before September.
not before.
When the city was discussing the elections, wanting to move them to November, we could have discussed it and requested the same back then. Now you're saying September, I know we couldn't. right?
No, we couldn't when they were doing
When did
it.
the city have a conversation?
They've been having this conversation for probably
So
2 years.
So the school districts did not have the authority to change the election
Right.
because that law sunset like in 2015. So from 2015 to 2025, school districts could not move their elections. They were stuck where they were. So at the legislative session in 2025, there was a new law that came into place
Right.
that said you could, again, so it reopened an old law that was closed. So the districts who had elections in May of 2026, which is us,
Yes.
had in theory from September one through January something to move the election. So you had that window only. But before September one, we couldn't do it. And after September one, we could.
Yeah, when they were discussing it, we couldn't.
I'm sure that and it's okay. We are where we're at and that's water under the bridge. But I did ask after September and I was told we could not, so. And that's fine. But I would like Pearson to be one of the schools that's open.
But did you ask it then or the superintendent?
I'd rather not discuss it here.
So nobody like from here that told you no?
You want Pearson or Castro? Because you had mentioned.
Castro, I'm sorry.
So what
Castro.
we're missing is Castro and Alton Elementary for election day.
Right.
It's a Saturday.
Right.
I
Requesting.
think we need to discuss it in,
For just
and we need to know cost,
Castro.
the personnel.
Paid for every.
And how many, well, we need to know how many computers we're gonna be getting.
So what we could do is we could bring the amendment till March.
Okay,
We got plenty.
Please bring it back. And then in consideration of the proposal cost. Would you like for us to bring it out and then bring it back?
That way we get.
well, go ahead and, yeah,
Because this can be modified one more time. It can be modified, we can go with this and then modify it again, then modify it again.
well, because you'll have more numbers.
Correct,
You'll have the number of machines that you'll be allotted with the contract.
correct.
Your contract.
The county's gonna be the one that's gonna give us the cost. And it's all based again is, let's say Palmhurst does not have a race at all. And all is gonna come to us. Let's say
Exactly.
SEC doesn't have a race, then all that cost is gonna be ours.
Mm-hmm.
So it could go from, last time was 29,000, so it could go up to 50, 60,000 bucks. It
Yeah.
just depends.
Okay,
So would you like for me to pull it out, bring it in March, Ms. Reyna?
I think that,
Probably best, so you're not
it's best,
amending concept.
right. So just bring it back in March.
Okay, we'll pull it. The next item is gonna be the resolution with the city of Palmhurst to conduct a joint election for the May 2nd, 2026. And section 11.0581 of the Education Code requires that the district conduct a joint election with one of the cities. The city of Palmhurst has indicated that they have their general election and are requesting the only school to serve as their polling place, which is Rafael Cantu Junior High School. So the district has experience with working relationship with the city of Palmhurst, so we are recommending the approval of the resolution.
I'm okay with it.
Is that,
Consent.
that's it?
Thank you all.
The next one's gonna be resolution nominating for the Hidalgo Appraisal District Board vacancy. January 16th, Hidalgo County Appraisal District notified Dr. Chris King, Superintendent of Schools, on a vacancy for the board directors following the passing of Kirby Ed Court on December 27th. In accordance to Texas Property Code, the board has declared the position vacant and outlined the required process to fill that seat. So, Hidalgo County Appraisal District is requesting for the Mission School Board to nominate a candidate. Our deadline is March 2nd. I know we brought this, there was 2 candidates that were nominated, but they're asking for 1. So maybe by the board meeting next week,
We'll come up with one.
come up with one name, so I can.
One. We can do that. Another one.
Yeah.
But we may have another interested party too. If there's another interested party to be nominated, can we just add them or only from the 2 that we had?
No, you can, well, let me confirm.
In this one, it's anybody,
Okay,
because it's for replacement of who they need to replace, so they're asking for nominations of people who are interested. So they can consider them for replacement.
Okay, so if anyone has anyone to recommend, just bring their, I guess, a resume, and then we can decide who the one will be.
Was it the one that's stepping down?
You got,
So he was, that was murdered
Oh,
in court.
oh, okay, okay.
Mr. Eddie Ben.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
okay, we'll take care.
Okay, so I'm gonna pass it to Mr. Jaime Lopez.
We're on to the quality investment report. So as of December 31st, 2025, we have a total cash balance of $1,100,000. And for that quarter, we actually ended up making about $952K in interest receipts. Any questions or comments? Amendments? So on this one, again, on the expense side, nothing fancy, just budget cost functions, one pocket to another. On each side, we do have an increase in revenue because of increased data rate costs being charged to some of those federal funds of 44,959. So you see now the revenue is gonna go up by 44,959.
So the curriculum development and instruction was through federal funds?
Yes, so we got the numbers and now we're gonna charge the grants.
Okay.
Cost.
Thank you.
Any questions or
That
comments?
would be more money.
Next, please, consent. Now moving on to donation. Yeah, the total of $1,400. The largest cash donation of 8.3. And then the donation is like 70. So, you have all the detail and the actual summary, all the transactions. And we just want to go ahead and donations. Moving on to tax collections. All we have when the tax for us. So for the month, we came up with $11 million in tax collections.
Elections.
So December has a strong tax collections, as you may already know. So we have those collections and we have all the detail there.
There's something wrong.
Any questions or concerns about this? I can say. I, Dr. King.
On number I.
Oh, pardon me. I was going into the general fund. Let's. Yes, I is discussion on matters related to the annexation of district property to the city of Palmhurst.
So that item was added on there. The board wanted to consider the possibility of annexing a parcel of property that we have that is within the territorial abutting properties of the city of Palmhurst. That discussion was brought up to you a couple of times in executive session, and so we hadn't actually taken any formal action on it. And so it's going to be brought for your consideration at the board meeting. Unless you want to talk about it right now, if you want, we can add it to consent, if you're okay with it, or if you want to talk about it at the meeting, then we can talk about it at the meeting. It's up to you all.
We have discussed it in executive.
Yes.
Oh, do we have to discuss the executive?
You have to discuss it in executive, so you don't have to, but there is there is an executive session exemption for real estate. So I would recommend you discuss it in executive because that's.
Where it needs to be discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Where you recommend it should be discussed, but it doesn't necessarily need to be discussed.
Right, correct.
Yes. So we discussed this, we'll go into executive session.
Okay, so we'll put
Okay.
that into today or the meeting?
You want to take care of it today or you want to go take care of it at the meeting?
I'm down doing it today. That way we just move forward with it.
We'll do it today. We'll go into executive session.
Do you want us, Madam President, do you want us to close out?
You can be in public? You can do it.
It's recommended.
Recommend we do it in executive.
Okay.
You want to do it, oh, okay.
But it's just for discussion.
It's only discussion.
If we won't be actually voting on it.
Yeah, we are here.
Right.
Want Mr. Lopez to complete the the trustees information items on the financial reports?
Yes.
Reports again, on the general fund debt service, you have transactions due December 31st, 2025. And these are all cash basis transactions, not accrual of any type. So you have, on general fund, you have $85.7 million for the revenue versus 77.8 in expenses. So you have, currently we have a issue of $7.8 million. So again, this is just cash basis, right? So, as we close out the year, we can get the superintendent updates on how we would look at the year end. So it's cash basis only. Again, it's on the debt service as well. We know we just had March payment for February. So that's not reflected on the expenses. So you do show an excess of 5.8, but we do know that in February, we just made a huge payment for the bonds. So the bond payments are always in February and in August. Okay. Any questions or concerns about that? And going off to cash disbursements, we have the high review of all the payments done, through accounts payable, the P cards and ACH transactions, all the details in the backup, everything ties to the summary.
Yeah.
So, any questions or concerns?
We're good?
Sure. May I share, section 8, important dates to remember before we go into executive session? Number 1, Monday, February 9th, 2026 is a bad weather day. District will be closed. 2, Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. So we host the annual Texas Academic Performance Report, public hearing at 6:15. Location Mission CISD Annex. Number 3, Wednesday, February 11th, 2026 will be the regular Board of Trustees meeting at 6:30 PM. Location Mission CISD Annex.
Okay. As noted in the notice and agenda regarding executive session, the Board of Trustees may convene in a closed meeting executive session at any time during the course of this meeting as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.071, 551.072, 073, 074, 076, 082, 0821, 785, 089, 418.175, 418.12, and Texas Education Code 39.030. At this time, the board will enter into executive session for private consultation with board attorney. The time now is 9:09. An executive session.
Gonna release everybody.
Let them go. Yes, team.
Dale, Cindy.
Very modern.
I've been leaving mine. I'm good.
Entregué todo, menos uno, me falta uno.
Okay.
Myra me dice,
Move to
Adjourn.
adjourn.
vale que almorzar.
But it's hard, I know. It was hard for my parents.
Oh, we don't need enough quorum, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dale como 10 pastillas.
Ready? Okay, it is 10:04 PM. This workshop is adjourned. Thank you.
And Meg, you missed us.
And we're here.
Thank you.
Y'all be careful going home.
Thank you. Good night.
Buenos nachos.
Tengo que firmar papeles.
Oh, that's right.
And we